Good evening and happy holidays, all of you winners. How are you this glorious day? Probably kicking today's buns because that's how awesome you are. But we have some awesome of our own going on over here. I'm, of course, with none other than Dayvid, the Duke himself.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
How you doing, Dookie? Ooh,
Still alive.
I just realized Dookie means something else. I typed that out and everything. I did not realize.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Let's not use that. I don't like it.
Well, we have some undookie people here. That's even weirder. We have some really awesome people here. We have Octavio and Emily, hosts of none other than the Bad News Bears podcast. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
But you've never had an intro like that before.
I'm still laughing from Dookie.
I usually don't get called undookie. Usually I'm the dookiest.
No, you're the most undookie.
I can't unhear that, and it will be used forever now.
No.
What's up, Dukester? Dookie Hauser. Yep, got it.
I've ruined Dayvid now. It's like, all right.
I know. You can hear it in his voice. Like, we won't call you that. I'm sorry.
He's like, start over now.
I'm destroyed.
So you're going to start a petition later.
It's over.
It could be the best nickname ever. It's going to be like, it's going to catch on so fast.
Own it. You can make it your own.
Exactly.
I feel like I have to produce now.
You produce
Amanda, you're making this way worse than it was.
I know.
He's producing Dookie.
That's right. That'd be a good show.
I mean, you could always say it's just in reference to Green Day's album. So
yeah,
there you go.
Major Green Day flag. Fan? Why did I say flag? I don't
Helping you out.
Well, thank you guys for joining us today. I know that was a different start than normal, but really happy to have you. I want to remind anyone listening that the episode that we did on your show for Halloween and just how fun that was. And I think that was probably
that was a great time.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard, and we were just talking about a bunch of true crime. So it was a phenomenal time. Dayvid and I were actually talking about that for a long while, just how fun it was and how you guys spun our own games on us and stuff. It was just a lot of fun. So
yeah, I mean, that's kind of what we go for. We figure we're called Bad News Bears because we're news bears who do it badly. And we figure there's enough terrible news out there that we want to put a fun spin on it. Just joke about things that you maybe wouldn't normally joke about and kind of turn the news on its face of just always being so dark and crappy.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's just, we try to make jokes as much as we can and just have a good time. So
you guys do a great job of that, by the way.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yes. I just love to bring the thing down, the mood all the time.
Okay, we have another co-host named Will, right? And he's not with us today, but we always bring
he's not dead.
No, he's no longer with us.
Not yet.
No. God rest his soul. But so we and Will usually bring someone got his arm bit off by a zebra, or someone got something stuck up their ass, and then Emily's over here hey, there's a pedophile in the neighborhood. Bro.
Kitty diddlers will always get talked about if I have anything to say about it, okay? Kitty diddlers can go fuck themselves.
They're the worst.
Hell yeah.
Everybody else there too.
They're supposed to. That's the rule.
I mean, you have a point. Yeah, you have a point. I'm just saying, when we have these funny stories, you can count on Emily to definitely bring that tone.
Yes, because someone's arm getting eaten by an alligator is so knee slapping hilarious.
Oh, that other one took place in Florida. That's common in Florida. That's not news.
And I have brought several Florida cases because, I spent my summers for the last, since I was born in Florida. So I know how wild and crazy it can be. But also, I don't think my family spent the same amount of time that those stories come from. We're different, but it's still weird. So I try not to bring the same type of Florida stories.
I love that you bring them at all. I'm just a big fan of, in general, the vibe that you bring to your episodes. So I really enjoy it. And I'm just happy because I think that we kind of mesh really well on that front where we don't really take our content necessarily 100% serious. So I really like that. I think it leads to just a really fun.
Yeah, we have similar, before we did Bad News Bears, we had a podcast called Bloodthirsty Times, which is strictly true crime. And, there's a space for true crime where it's just two white women and that's it. There's 50,000 of those. Mm-hmm. And so I'm Chicano or Mexican, half Mexican, half American. So I try to bring a whole different flavor to it. And so we do like you do. We tell stories. We cuss a lot, and we tell a story from a more, real standpoint. I want to say we throw some.
We couldn't find two other white women, is what you're trying to say. It was me and a brown and a white guy. Okay, that was it. What we got stuck with. That's why we switched names. It just wasn't working out.
That's why there's so much flavor. We bring the flavor.
Salsa picante.
You know it.
Ooh,
But also those, when our old episodes were legitimately research paper like type things, in depth. Like we were.
Oh yeah, we tried hard to bring the facts. Don't get me wrong. I wrote 25 pages.
27 pages.
Yeah, I wrote 25-page papers every week, and we tried hard. So if you go to Bad News Bears and you scroll all the way down, you'll find the true crime.
The Mockingbird Massacre, Mockingbird Hill Massacre. That was my first episode, and I felt like I could have graduated with my master's after doing that story. And I have a college degree, so I was like, "Damn, I need to give this to my professor."
You should have. He probably would have looked at you strange, but like
definitely, because I went into gruesome detail on those cases.
Man.
Yes,
and those details are gruesome.
Yeah, that was one of the worst cases we've covered.
Yeah, her first story was what, a familicide?
Yes, and I mean every single detail up to every ounce.
How long a kid was in a barrel, for instance. She went ham on details.
Just for instance, if it's how many knife strokes to the neck does it take to decapitate someone, it would literally go into detail about that. Mm-hmm. So everyone goes.
Yeah, great time, everybody. If you're into that kind of stuff, please check us out.
It sounds like a good time to me. I'm headed right over there once we're done. I don't know about you guys, but that's my cup of tea.
How many, by the way, do you know?
Of our other episodes?
No, how many
knife strokes?
I think that story was 9. I want to say
9.
It depends on the knife. It depends on if you go into the same knife, like the same slit as the first one.
There's thing. Like, if it's in the same hole, you can't tell how many strikes it takes. You know.
Well, you can if you counted, and I would be one to count because I have OCD. But if you didn't go directly into the previous spot that you had cut before, then it would take a little bit longer. It also matters if you're using a serrated blade or not. Now, I say all of these things as of not having researched them for myself to murder anyone, but let's just take it this far that if I did, I know how.
Most podcasters can agree if they looked up any of our search history, we would be in jail or a psych ward somewhere. Guarantee it. Any one of us.
Oh, I'm terrified of the FBI getting my search history.
Can I real quick just clarify the dynamic between me and Emily is that she's my wife. So if there's if you feel something weird there,
don't tell anyone that.
I know you don't want them to know, but they got to know.
They could have pretended to not know. They could have acted.
Well, I'm still stuck on the fact that Emily would count her knife strikes because, what happens if you lose count and man, now I got to stab somebody else?
I have to start in a new area. I'm not even kidding. That's how OCD I am. I have to start over
to get to the center of a Tootsie Roll Pop.
Dude, I was just thinking that.
Yeah.
Don't talk about that.
3.
I get PTSD.
That owl's just watching from a tree. I'm not saying shit.
Yeah, I was counting. It's like, Owl, did you catch that? What number was I on, Owl? You're like 3.
First of all, what they published is not true, and I'll never admit it.
In regards to the
no
story?
one licks one; they suck it.
Oh, well, he jacked candy from the kid in that ad and everything, and everyone was just like, "Yeah."
And then he just crunched it. He didn't even. He just.
I know.
He just ended up biting it.
The kid's just trying to gather a census for statistical research, and then you steal his candy and eat it in front of him. That's like a bitch of a bird.
And I would just like to point out, I do not believe this. I do not stand by this answer, but it has been documented. It is 364 licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. Yeah. And I don't believe that.
You heard it here first.
I don't believe that either.
If you just lick it once,
you're only
going to
get to the center on one side if you're licking it. If you're sucking it, that's different.
Yeah.
And I don't mean sucking it.
It's always faster when you suck it.
Yeah. It does complete the job usually faster.
Really quickly, yeah.
Yeah. The silence is deafening.
Oh my.
So I know you guys are expecting this, so we're just going to get out of the way. So
all right, here it goes.
Come in. Red flag, green flag. Now you guys are more than well aware of how to play this because during our episode together on your show, you spun it around on us, which was so clever. I love that. But now it's our turn to get the answers from you guys. So,
oh God,
Emily, you can go first.
I got 51st dates memory just now.
You don't remember what we talked about?
I know we literally just talked about it.
We had a group huddle, and we're like, "Hey, they're going to ask us."
Hi, I'm Emily. What are we doing?
Practice.
Yeah.
I just don't want to go first.
All right, fine. I'll go first. Red flag. Let's start there, right? Red flag.
Be honest.
Okay, well, all right. Well, there's so many to choose from, but
Yes, there are.
I'm gonna. Okay, calm down there. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say, my red flag is like I have.
Wait. Stop. Don't say your thing. I have a question
All right.
for Amanda and David. So if we don't agree with the other person's because we know them like the back of our hand, can we interject or no?
I'd rather not.
Absolutely.
I
Yes.
would rather not.
Sure,
I vote no. I vote no.
Octavia, this is not your show. We're not
Okay.
asking
I
you.
know.
I'm going to say if you disagree with each other's flags, you can recommend another. I'm not going to.
Right. There you go.
Let me get my pen and paper.
How about this annoying thing you do? How about that?
Well, this will be the first time that you can actually give red flags on each other too.
Yeah.
It's be like a
Do that.
6-hour roasting Octavio
Yeah, no,
special.
it really would. Do you guys have time? She can keep
I'm
going.
so ready
Don't
for this.
forget where you sleep.
Okay, well, that being said, I'm going to say what I think my biggest one would be, all right? Being completely honest. Okay, my red flag is that I can easily not give a shit about something. Or a lot of things. Most everything I don't give a shit about. I really don't. I take the minding my business thing way too far. And if it doesn't affect me, I don't care.
And that's not necessarily a good thing. Like it sounds like it might be because you can mind your own business, but sometimes he takes things that do involve him, do involve his family, and he just still chooses not to give a shit. Because it's like he either has the mindset that he can't fix it or change it, or worrying about it isn't going to make a difference. And
It's stoic. He's being stoic.
Yeah.
So Emily,
I have to be the calm person. I have to be the calm person to compliment your, craziness.
Calm?
Yeah, I have to be the calm person to compliment.
Like we're getting
crazy.
like an Entertainment Weekly Insiders edition right
to a married couple who podcast together. Here we go. All right, so that's
I need to step away.
That's my red flag.
I'm in. I'm done.
What's yours?
That's my
Emily,
red flag.
do you agree with it?
I do agree that he doesn't care about anything.
Most
honestly,
things,
like
yeah.
It's pretty much like if it isn't directly affecting him and him only, not even our kids or myself, if it's not directly affecting him, then he has the ability to turn off like the worry like button in his brain. Whereas
like for instance, like when my head hits the pillow, I go to sleep.
I worry about like is the sky actually blue? Like not really, but you know what I mean? Like I can worry about anything and everything all the time.
What's it called? The feng shui thing. You know what I'm talking about?
How you organize your furniture.
No, I'm talking about that same. You know the two colors, black and white in a circle, yin and yang. It's yin and yang.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I wouldn't even call
it
that
because
I would
you're
think you have just a dot.
Yes,
and I'm the rest.
We are
of the
complete
circle.
opposites. Let's just get that out of the way. But Emily, please go. What's your red flag, please?
My red flag is that I choose on a daily basis to take care of or worry about others before myself. And in some ways that's good, but in a lot of ways it's not, because it could be detrimental to my family, myself, take my health. I have no idea what blood sugar is. I'm not eating.
Yeah, she has low blood sugar, but I compare it to in the airplanes when the module comes down for how to take care of an emergency. You put it on yourself.
I would not put it on myself.
And then your kids, right? She doesn't do
I'm
that.
altruistic at heart in multiple ways. I do not have the ability
she's making
to care
it sound
for
like a green
myself.
flag. It's not.
It is. It just as Taylor.
Swift?
Anti-hero. Yeah. If you don't know it, then you don't need to be alive.
So yin and yang
Taylor
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But most of the time, the yin and yang, like I said, he makes up like 90% of that. Even he comes into my little part of my thing. And then I'm the little small part I am is so big and like boisterous that it makes up for it. Like I'm on a level 1000 and he's just like whatever all the time.
He's a one.
Go all the time. I do and do not stop. I don't know how to sit down. I don't know how to not volunteer. I'm even in an organization that has nothing to do with my own kids, and I volunteer multiple days a week to kids. I have zero.
So I think she's giving her red and green flags in like one thing.
No, my green flag is that. Well, no, I guess I wouldn't think most people don't think that's a green flag. To be altruistic, that's not green.
No, but the way you do it, like you do volunteer for a kids organization.
Multiple times a week. That's incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying that's from.
It's like an adult sorority. We have to pay to be in it, and then we have to devote X number of hours per week to be in it.
We just
And then
went to
have
a
chair
fancy ass
programs.
ball.
Day to volunteer.
Yes, and we just went to
Jesus.
a ball that cost
charity
us
ball. We
a
had to-
shit ton of money for
we
a
had to rent
tux,
a tux.
my ball gown, the tickets. Yeah, it was. And this is a yearly thing. This is my second year in the organization, and it lasted a total of 6 years.
Wow.
Can I go my green flag now?
Do you
Can I
have
go?
one?
Can I go? Yeah. Well, you'll like it. My super cutesy. Okay. My green flag is I married her. She makes up for all my shit.
Aww.
She makes up for all of my shit. So
I was the
whatever
last
I
person
don't
on
do-
earth who wanted to put up with this bullshit. That's
Your
not
own?
cutesy. I thought you were
think
going
that's
to really say
adorable.
cutesy something.
Okay. Well, I guess I wasn't. Sorry.
No, but the way you said it, like I
just said
married
it in
her
a way
like I
that-
was the last person on earth.
No, I said it like whatever I'm not,
Oh
you
my
are.
God.
Why'd you do it bad?
Because the way you said it, I married her like as if she was the last person on earth.
My green flag is that I was charitable and married her. I know she didn't have a lot of options, so I said, you know what, I might as well marry this woman.
Is that also a weekly responsibility?
Yeah.
It's
No. For
it's
me, not him.
a daily upkeep?
Hourly.
Yeah, really, minute by minute. We'll see how it goes in a couple minutes.
I feel like you guys
I'm done.
complement each other really well, though. It's really cute. Like I like when there's an exchange of energy. It's like not, you don't have to necessarily match, but you guys complement each other. In
You
my
might be the
opinion.
first person to ever say that.
Aw.
That was very sweet. It was very sweet.
That was very sweet.
But I gotta hear another one. I can't.
Yeah.
I hear one more.
See?
Give me one more.
What?
Your
One more green
bullshit.
flag or red flag? I
Yes,
got
one
many.
more green flag. Because I know
Green flag.
you got some green flags in there.
David's heart of coal. He's like, that's not good enough.
I
I
can't
have a
think of
red
any.
flag for you.
I can't think of. Do you have a green flag for? Maybe you could tell
No,
me a green flag.
I have
Maybe
a
you
red
could be nice
flag
to me.
for you.
I'm sure you
Oh.
do.
I
knew
know
that.
more about professional sports, the players who play on the teams, who's winning, who's not, and all of those things because he knows zilch.
Yeah, I'm not a sports
also
ball
about
know
fan.
zilch.
any of that.
Oh
He
man.
knows Travis Kelce because he's dating Taylor Swift.
Is that
Oh,
that's
I
Taylor
know
Swift's
that out
boyfriend, right?
there.
That's Taylor Swift's boyfriend, right? The guy who's in some kind of
See?
football club.
See, I grew up in the South. SEC is life here. Roll
Yeah.
Tide all day, every day. He don't know jack about sports,
Nor do I care.
and it irks me. I don't understand how someone can go through life willy nilly not knowing what the hell a touchdown is.
Willy nilly.
And it's not like he's a regular. It's not like he's a regular degular. Like he has a sport he likes, but he's like a no sports.
No,
type guy.
soccer, World Cup time, bro.
World Cup
MLS.
is life in our house.
LAFC for life, baby.
I don't know that you've caught a game, know a player on the team, or seen the last time they scored a goal, but okay. These are your flags. My bad. Didn't mean
Well,
to interrupt.
that's a
I
red
share
flag.
that
Okay.
flag. I don't
can
know
see
anything
that.
about sports. Hockey, I know hockey, but that's about it.
Well, all I know is that one just got his neck sliced, and that
Yeah,
was so
that
sad.
was nuts.
Yeah,
That was,
that
so sad.
was.
And the other one got
horrible.
charged with manslaughter.
I know.
That was insane.
That whole situation is very
I
sad.
think your green flag is that you're super good at this. That's a green flag in my book.
Talking?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, talking, posting
Knowing
your
other
show.
people's
You
red
guys,
flags.
that's a green
Octavio
flag for
being
you.
Yeah, is that what you're saying? Octavio has a green flag of being good at podcasting?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Oh,
for
okay.
sure.
Yeah, I missed
For
that.
sure.
Yes, I agree.
I agree with that.
Emily, do you
Oh,
have
you guys.
I feel oh shut up. God, take it back. Take it back, everybody. Take it back. I feel like he's always known that though. And he's just never
okay.
had
Can I tell a quick story real quick now that you say that? One time I was in
Yes.
8th grade, just like most people were.
at
And
band camp.
no, it wasn't at band camp. It was in world history class, right? And I had to do a paper on the H bomb. And I delivered the most in-depth in 8th grade, the most in-depth, and people like still talked about it for a long time after I did that. I just
Nice.
by the time I was done, people knew everything about the H bomb. Like
What is
I've been
H-bomb?
obsessed with history. See?
I know nothing about history.
You know,
Other than the
just saw-
South did not win. I do know the South did not win. And they think they did.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, I know nothing about sports. You know nothing about geography. You know nothing about history. You know,
I know everything else though. Science and math is what's
which way is
matters.
north?
Up.
See,
Up from us. I mean, like not literally up in the sky, but like north of us.
Yeah,
I know my
the
never
North
eat
Star's
soggy
at.
wieners.
So I guess what I was going to say is like a green flag before she said more red flags about me is that I am really good at teaching people things. Like I'm really good at being patient and like and showing people things done the way I think is the right way anyway. And I'm really patient with people. So I think that's one of my
That's
green
cool.
flags.
I have never met this person in my entire life.
You don't-
and
you
I
haven't
want
met
this
work
on
me.
the record.
You haven't met with me.
because I'm that person at home. I could literally ask, how do I work this tape dispenser? And he would
I don't
look at
know.
me like I grew a dick out of my forehead before he would try to help me.
What is that coming out of your face? I don't know what that is.
Exactly. I'm the man of the house. Like, but that's and I'm
She's
not even trying to be
kidding.
I'm not even trying to be sexist, but literally I'm the man of the house. I taught him how to change tires.
You
I
didn't
fix
teach me that.
everything that's wrong
No,
with our
it's for your
house.
role. You didn't teach me that.
Bruh.
You just
Let's
do
not
things
front in
around
front of
here.
our company, okay? I don't want to put you down in front of Mixed Company. But my dad had 3
No.
girls and I'm the youngest, and he raised us
I
to
knew how to do stuff. It's just
Well, actually,
you
I'm
do them.
still the
But
only
listen,
child.
okay, let's flip it real quick. You're so strong-willed, you don't allow me to do them. How about that? Boom.
It's because I know I can do it right the first time.
Wow. All right. Can we move past red flag, green flag, please?
Why?
I think
I'm
we
having
need
so
to.
much fun. Oh my God. I thought the whole episode was just going to be red flag, green flag.
Yeah. Thank you for coming to our TED Talk about me being red flags. Octavio the red flag.
Oh. Well, we can skedaddle past this hot button
Thank you.
topic since
Oh,
we're
it's
busy.
hot.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Some
Thank
Hot
you.
button. It was
Oh man.
We are going to talk about some of our answers to the question of the week from last week. I do want to hear your guys' answers first before we go through and read our answers. So we asked, would you still practice the passion in your life if it risked your life directly on a daily basis? And then why or why not? So you guys have a passion in life. If it threatened your livelihood or threatened your safety on a daily basis, or would you continue pursuing that passion?
Emily?
Yes, we both do
Yeah.
already. Yes. 100%.
I know Emily would. So I was saying, Emily, go first. I know you do it. Like you work in an
Yes,
ER.
I do it every single day.
So yeah, okay. Again, more green flags. She works for charity. She puts more time and effort into most things, and she saves lives on a daily basis. So
Wow. Yeah.
I feel like that
Yeah.
like kind of
Amazing.
buried the lead with that one a little. That's like a
Yeah.
pretty big green flag, like the saving lives thing,
And
maybe.
why I said both of us is that Octavio works at a very dangerous place that's actually building the fleet for our armed forces, and that is he's known people who have lost their lives out there. My parents have too, and it's a dangerous job, but he does it every day. But yeah,
No. I was gonna say my answer was yes. I would absolutely do, because don't threaten me with a good
that's
time.
what I said.
Doing
He
something
would.
I love and dying, man, sign me up.
He gets more money if he dies out there, so I do know that.
No, you're not listening. I
get a
can
bigger
die.
payout.
I can die or do what I love. Yeah, I'm in. Both. It's a win-win.
Or you just die out there and I get more money.
Yeah, that's true. More on overtime though. You gotta
But
remember
yeah,
that.
I don't know how to not do for others. Like that's a big thing for me. So yeah,
I love that.
if it became
Yeah.
between not doing for others and dying, I would definitely continue to do for others, even if it hurt myself.
Aw.
Yeah, I went way more morbid with that.
That's
Well, that's
good.
lovely.
Well, they're
guys.
still
That's-
positive. Yeah, that's amazing. David,
What
what
about
about
you guys?
you?
No.
No?
Just
Flat out.
no.
Please, no,
Hell
don't. Please do not. Don't expand on that. Just no.
That was
Just
like
leave
a
it.
Burger King
Just
have it
leave
your
it.
way. No, sir, you cannot have it your way.
It's perfect the way you
just-
said it. Just no.
Yeah. Because I want to stay alive. I have a lot of life left, and if something is threatening me constantly, even if I'm passionate about it, I'll just do something else. I'm passionate about a lot of shit, so I'll just move on to the next one that won't kill me. That's just my take on it.
Well, I guess in that sense, though, like, does your actual daily job, like, do you love your actual daily job?
No, I don't. I'm a courier, so I do a lot of driving. I'm driving all the time. I enjoy the driving, but I have seen more death in doing this job in the past, 8 months I've been doing this job. I've seen more death on the side of the road that I care to see. I'll say this: I'm a way better driver now. I am able to escape.
Predict. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see what's going to happen and get out of the way.
Yeah.
And I've seen so much shit out there. I've seen motorcycles just zoom right by me, and when I catch up to them, they're on fire on the road. It's just
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
yeah, it's crazy.
So that's not your that's not necessarily like job related for you, right? Those are outside things that are happening while you're doing your job, correct?
Right. Exactly.
So if you had a job that you loved like to death, but you knew that your life could be put on the line daily, let's just for say like underwater welding on offshore riggers, like
He knows all about that.
Oh yeah.
well, there you go. So like, is that a type of job? That's a job where you would put your life on the line every single
Right.
time you got in that water to do that, or in the helicopter to get to the rig. Would you love doing that enough to say, I can lose my life today, but I'm still going to go do it?
Nope. I'm out. Next. Not doing
Fair
it.
enough. Hey, listen, fair enough.
Walmart's hiring greeters right now.
At least you can admit it. That's the important thing.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Just
that's a
saying.
huge thing.
Yeah.
I have other passions, paranormal. That's a passion. It's not going to kill me, as far as I know.
According to the movies, it will.
Yeah, right.
You could be the fishing line person who opens the cabinets with the fishing line so no one sees it. That could be you.
Oh,
Yeah,
I can so much of that.
We have some of the first podcasting friends we've ever made is a podcast, paranormal podcast, and
Heather and Josh.
Not Heather. Josh says all the time that he doesn't fear the dead; he fears the living. More than anything, like he's not afraid of the ghosts. In wherever they go, research and experiment on. But he is afraid of the living. They will do way more harm to you than the dead ever will.
Absolutely,
So.
yes.
That's definitely something I agree with. But
yeah,
I don't know what the dead is capable of.
Right. The living is capable of the worst shit possible. I mean, think kid diddlers, right? So that's horrible. Yeah. I don't see a ghost doing that shit.
Yeah, kitty diddlers can all go fuck themselves.
Yes,
I said
absolutely.
it, and I'll say it again. Always.
2,000%.
Agree to that.
Are you dying?
I'm so glad we can all agree on that.
Yeah. That's if there's anyone that doesn't agree on that somehow makes their way onto the show, they're not going to be met with like kindness. So just.
What about you, Amanda? What about the passion stuff?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because my passion's all animal stuff. So like, I definitely would be okay going out like trying to pet something that's going to kill me, stuff like that. So if my passion, like for example,
and you
if I
have
could do anything, yeah. But if I could do anything, out there and like I'm doing my thing with animals, whatever it be, I'm definitely, if that's how I go out, that's how I go out. But at least I'm enjoying what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So that in that situation, yes. But if it's a situation like, let's say my passion was like climbing those ridiculously tall telephone poles that people do as a hobby.
Linemen.
Oh God, no, I can't.
Yeah, but 200K a single climb?
It's not even a 200K, it's a single climb. I mean, Skinner makes almost $800,000 a year doing that.
Yeah. It's a lot of money.
I don't like
and then when they get called out for storms, when we don't have like for Katrina back in the day or any storms, when we didn't have power for 6 days after Zeta, those people come from Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Arkansas, Louisiana, and they get paid bank. But it is very dangerous.
That's fucking dangerous, yeah.
Yeah, very much so.
Hell, one of our best friends flies on a medical helicopter, and was a paramedic.
Oh yeah, he's constantly telling us about how they almost died hitting a tree because they couldn't see through a storm. Like constantly,
he just became a flight nurse recently because he went to nursing school and then finally got a certification. But like, there are so many like flight crews that like crash and die, and it is listed as one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. But like, every single time he lands at my hospital and takes one of my patients or drops off a patient to me, I never think about the fact that could be the last time he lands or takes off.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about that.
That is.
Because you don't think about it as being dangerous. You just think they're just lifting up, going off, and landing somewhere else. It's like a plane.
Yeah, things happen so quick. It's I mean, it's with anything, but like especially jobs where you have that increased risk, it's definitely for the family too, of like worrying every day. And I mean, anything little happens, like their phone dies and you can't get a hold of them, and that like creates such a different vibe than any other job. So I get that. So as far as the people who had answered this question on our Instagram, we do have a few answers to go through. So I have Prissy Girl 03 who said she's a chicken and she'll play it safe. So if she knew her life was at risk, she would probably just tone down her passion a little bit.
Yeah, Chrissy.
Oh. Yeah.
The Paranormal Lovers said, yes, we do this podcast because we got to work with each other doing something we love. I met my wife Felicia at the place I worked, and when we had a kid, she quit. Flash forward to now, and we work together again on an amazing podcast. I would risk my life for that every time, which is kind of cute.
That's nice.
Is like risking your life, but I guess if it did risk your life and you're still willing to do it, that's cute.
Yeah.
Fairy Incognito 8 said, I did. Storm Chaser. The fear of death didn't stop me. Becoming a mom stopped me because she needed me. Ironically, it was after having her that I ended up in a vehicle that lifted off the ground and spun around on an overpass during a tornado.
Oh, no, thank you. I'm out.
Yeah, that's probably one job I could done.
Imagine being like a tornado chaser and you don't ever have that experience, and then you have a kid and you give it up, and then it's like, bet.
Yeah.
A tornado finds you.
It's how it always goes. Like you have like 4 years like smooth sailing, and then you're just like all of a sudden you got something to lose, and like, oh, okay, now
Yep.
All right. You better watch your back now.
Exactly that. You got something to lose. Good way to word that. 305 Paranormal said, I mean, I won't be jumping out of no airplane, but like Cartman from South Park always says, I do what I want.
I love the wording. What was that person's name? Shout out to your
305
grammar.
Paranormal, yes.
Hey,
I won't be
Jen.
jumping out of no airplane.
Jen and Mondo. Way to go.
Yeah.
Love it.
You know,
Love it.
Cartman also says, "Fuck you guys, I'm going home."
I don't
Yeah.
know who
That's
Cartman is.
right. He does say that.
I don't know who that is. Is that a person?
It's like one of the characters on South Park.
South
Are we
Park.
being facetious? I'm really gullible.
No, I
she
sure
really
don't know.
doesn't know anything
Oh.
about pop culture. She's in the dark, except for Taylor Swift.
I would love to say yes, I'm being facetious, and I would love to play along and not sound so stupid. But half the time, Will and Octavio do this to me
Like,
just so
so-
I sound stupid.
Half
Aw.
of what I say is from a quote from a movie or a song, and she just
And
like,
I
what?
get it.
What?
And if I didn't have my phone in my hands half the time, I'd have to Google those things so I can at least pretend for 1 second I know what the fuck they're talking about.
Our friend Nisha at Hot Garbage Show said, I had to really think about this one, but I think I would, yes. Of course, our friend Stacy, our kitchen witch, she said, only death would keep me from my friends, fur babies, and podcasts, which is kind of nice.
It is.
Northern Siren, our buddy Frankie, she said, I think you need to take risks on life, and if it is a passion that you cannot live without, then yes, absolutely.
Frankie.
Preach.
Thank you.
I agree.
Unexplained Cases said, once I found my passion of storytelling, there are many things to accomplish that, but not all align with where God wants me to be. That's a personal journey, and having peace where I am now, where the Lord needs me to be, at least for now. Faith plus passion equals purpose. Which is beautifully said, but it did not answer
I love
the question.
that.
Yeah, that's deep.
It
That's a
did
deep
not
cut
answer
right
the
there.
question.
No,
I
but it
got
was
kind of
beautiful.
confused, but I love that for him. Because if he wants to center his life that way, that is perfectly fine with me. Not everyone does, and it was poetically stated.
It was eloquent. I appreciated the
Yes,
time you
very.
took to write that out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Our friend Tracy at Total Conundrum Podcast, she said, I thought I would until I heard this story. Rubber House in Arizona is what I'm sticking with. Hee hee. Which the reason that we're
God.
asking this is our story was about a man who was struck by lightning 7 times while doing what he loved, which was forest rangery. So good job on
Which
the
was
Rubber
what?
House. He was like a forest ranger and he
Oh,
just continued getting struck by lightning and he never gave it up. And like 8
7
times.
This is a
times.
Nicholas
I-
Sparks movie.
Okay, but at what point is it continuing your passion and not taking a sign from
And
God?
stupidity. No, where's the line between
Like,
passion and stupidity?
Well, no, I mean, what I'm saying is clearly God does not want you to do forest rangery.
Right.
That's
Maybe
what I
God
said.
does, and he's just not done with them yet. Maybe he
Like,
wants
you're
him
not-
to
you're not-
ranger up some other places.
Yeah, you would go somewhere else where there isn't as much lightning and continue being a forest ranger. But
Maybe
That
he
was
Listen.
my
wants him to be like
recommendation.
Nicholas
Yeah.
Sparks' movie, or Sweet Home Alabama, where he takes rods, sticks them in the sand, and makes glass sculptures.
yeah, dude, I mean, you attract lightning. Clearly, you could just use himself as a rod.
Speaking of sparks, it would hit him and light his hair on fire. His eyebrows, his
Many
hair.
times.
Not once, not twice, like 3 or 4 times, man.
Jeez,
Go
It
away.
wasn't all of them. So
for
still had to
real,
go.
like, there's, you got to read between the lines there, buddy. Clearly, you're not meant for this.
Yeah.
Maybe he was
exactly.
supposed to be bald and eyebrowless.
That's what I'm
He was just entering
saying.
his
God
bald.
wanted a cue ball and he wasn't having it. He's like, no, I'm
Yeah.
clinging to this hair.
That's
By the way, I wanted to mention Nisha from Hot Garbage True Crime Edition. She just did a documentary on Jeffrey
Yeah.
Dahmer, and she freaking killed it, man. She killed it. She was awesome on that.
It's on Tubi.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
It's
That's
called
amazing.
Fresh Meat to Killing Jeffrey Dahmer, and it was basically about him in prison when he was murdered
Yeah,
and,
with that
and how
pipe.
and the whole thing. Yeah, great. It was great, and she was awesome.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Really highly recommend everyone check that out. And I'm so proud of her for putting that out there.
Me
on there.
too.
It was really cool.
Oh man,
I love that it's not just reusing old information or from other people, but putting your own spin on it. I like
Yeah.
when people do that because it's
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
difficult to follow multiple stories with the same time or same storyline.
Yeah, the same content and details that get recycled. Yeah, I agree.
And I know it's hard to not have the same stuff because it's a story that's happened and stopped happening, but that's cool. We'll have to check it out.
yeah,
yeah,
definitely check that
It's
one
worth
out.
it. Way
Our
worth
friend
it.
Wendy Lunaleaf 444, she said, absolutely, because life without passion equals death anyway, so there's really nothing to lose, which is a good way of
Oh,
looking at it.
Yeah, that's
Preach,
an
Yeah.
interesting
girl,
outlook.
preach.
Yeah, like you're not really living if you're not doing what you love.
Good point. Yeah.
That's
Are you
so
all
Wendy.
living and loving your jobs?
I mean, I could leave
But
something to
well-
be desired, but
David, I know you're not.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
Octavio, do you think that like I do?
What?
like what literally what she just said.
So Emily, you
Oh.
feel like you're living a life of your passions, like you're doing
Yes.
what? Yeah, I agree.
I do. I feel like I'm doing what I'm put on earth to do.
Lastly, our friend Arnie Elhantino, he said, well, I've been followed home after several investigations. They weren't fun. To your question, if I was single with no kids, yes. So he does like paranormal investigating.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Arnie's awesome.
So
Arnie's awesome.
that's like a different level though, because like the risk doesn't stop when you go home. Like if you're getting followed home by shit, like that's your life every day. That's different. I feel like I don't know that I'd be as open to that. If the risk was constant, regardless if I was working or not, that's
That's
little
what happened
scarier.
to that's what happened to Nick Groff, right? From
Oh yeah,
Ghost Adventures?
yeah.
That's what happened to him.
couple
That's why he's
times,
not
I
on there.
think.
Yeah, it got followed him and ruined like his whole life. Like he
Yeah.
got
This is going to
divorced
be
or
an
whatever.
unpopular opinion.
What's that?
I don't believe in paranormal.
That's not unpopular. I feel like that's pretty popular.
It's very unpopular. Very
I
unpopular.
feel like most of the people we've teamed up with think it's an unpopular opinion, and they think I'm like just not into it enough, I guess. But no, I just don't believe it. It has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with me being raised religious. I've made my own way in life as it is now, but I don't think that is real because I've never seen it.
That's
Right.
absolutely how I feel too. Like I have to see
Yeah.
it to, and the only reason that I believe in it is because I've had an experience. So if I hadn't,
Me too.
I'm skeptic about everything. I don't believe in Bigfoot. I don't believe in half of the
Me-
cryptids that are out there. No
Me too.
disrespect, because I know people do wholesomely believe in that, and I respect that.
Mhm.
But me personally, I have to experience it myself to acknowledge
Right.
it exists. That's just how I live
Preach.
life.
38 minutes. Mark that. Amanda said she didn't believe in you. 38 minutes. It's down.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe in it until it happened to me. That's the only thing that changed my thought process on it. Because I was like,
You
all
met
of it's
Big-
fake.
Bigfoot?
All of it's fake. Oh yeah, we're good friends.
I knew.
No,
Where are you
We
from?
have tea
Told me
time
about
once a
you.
week where they grunt and shave each other's body hair.
But wait, okay. So while we're on the
Sounds
topic
like a good
of
time to
not
me.
seeing,
yeah.
we have to see to believe. You know, like a lot of people, like Amanda, you said you didn't have to, or you have to see it to believe it. You want to experience it to know it's real. Blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Octavio thinks that it's just real because at one point in time, someone said it's real.
No, not
What is
necessarily.
that? Okay, 99.99999%.
No, I just want to believe. I think it's fun.
That's
I think
even
it's
more
fun.
insane. I think you
No, it's
want to
fun.
believe in something
What's
that
the
you've
point of
never
not
been
It is
believing in
proven.
yourself?
insane. It
What's
is
the point of
insane.
not believing?
I
It's
love
fun.
it.
It makes life fun. There's things that we don't
Yeah.
understand
That's
out
to
there.
me the equivalent of someone handing you 2 pencils in school and saying write with the number 2, and one of them has a number 3 on it, and you're like, I believe this is a number 2 pencil. I'm gonna write with it.
No, that's
It's
not.
You've never been proven that it's right. You've never
No.
experienced it.
I said I want to believe. I want to have the fun of a
Wanting
fairy
to
tale, like
believe
things
it
out there that
and
we don't
following
understand
it.
beyond our understanding. That's all.
I understand the appeal of kind of like wanting our world to be bigger than our understanding.
Hey, remember that time where I was describing my podcast and I was like, hey, we bring the fun. And then Emily's like, I'm not going to bring the fun.
Yeah,
Remember when I said that?
I don't know what fun is. Remember?
If you guys recall, just a few minutes ago.
Well, now that we've sufficiently bored and bummed everybody to death,
Sorry.
no, I'm just joking. And I'm gonna really bum some people out now. But first, we want to give a quick shout out to all the same people in podcast. You know who we love. We say it every time. But I do want to take a second to give a special thank you to Wendy. She's our newest Patreon member. We're so
Yes,
happy to
she's
have
awesome.
you. Welcome to the Winners Club. I just wanted to give her 2 seconds. You are going to get your little welcome party, so just hang tight. I have a few questions that are relevant to our case today that I want to get your guys' opinions on before we get into the case. So I know Octavio is like so mad because he just wants to know, but I'm just dangling it a little bit longer.
You have no idea. Like I don't know if it's a red or green flag, but I know a lot of things. Like, and I will tell you, I know. Yeah. Like I was saying, I told her, like, since we started organizing this whole meetup, I was like, can I know, please? Like, I don't like not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
I just need to know.
I know. It's hard for
I'm
you.
the
And
same
I
way.
You might have a inkling, but I like catching your natural reactions and hearing your
I get
thoughts without having time to think about it. So yeah, I'm so sorry to do that to you, but
Yeah, you should be.
But we're gonna go around the room, metaphorical room, and I should be.
Yeah. I love it.
There, that was me smacking my hand for you.
I'm the last in the room, by the way.
Okay, so we'll have Emily go last.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. So my first question is, in a perfect world, say you have all the money, space, and resources that you need indefinitely, how many children would you want in your family?
Oh,
God. Octavio thinks like this daily.
Yeah, I do. That PCH,
It consumes
that
most of his life.
Publishers Clearinghouse. I have daydreams about that.
He's just waiting for that door knock.
Yeah, so I'm Mexican. Like I said, my mom and dad are both Mexican. On my mom's side, I get them mixed up all the time, but I think my mom's side has 14 brothers and sisters, and my dad has 11 brothers and sisters.
I thought one of them had 19.
No, it's 14 and 11. So I would like
It's
a large
too
family.
many.
If I could afford it, if there was no issue struggling with any kind of financial anything, I would have a very large family if I could.
Okay. Are you
And
in a
why?
disagreement with that? You're not popping out that many?
Oh, hell no. I'm white, but I'm not Duggar's white. And,
God, I'm so grateful. I am so
and
grateful
I
for
will
that.
be damned if I am adopting, shooting them out, or growing them in a dish. I'm not having them eating.
So we have 2 kids.
Oh my
Is that the
God.
ideal amount for you?
2 kids. I say 2 kids when I say too many. Okay.
We don't have a girl though. Do you want that girl? You can
I
try
do
to
so
get that
badly
girl.
want a girl, but he scares me because he makes me think she's going to look like one. He says Latina girls are mean. He has scared me for life on Latinas. That's why we do not have a girl. Well, that's not why we don't have a girl.
That's not why.
We
It's genetics.
had 4 miscarriages and finally got lucky with Luca. Thank God. Anyways,
There it goes again.
What?
You just tank the feeling.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, what's wrong with Latinas? I'm curious.
I was just mentioning, like, we weren't trying for only 2. Like,
Yeah,
we
no,
were.
I know.
So,
What did I scare you with though? What did I scare you about Latina girls?
Because he has a sister and she's not mean like to me or anything, like but I also don't think she's like the Latina he's trying to scare me with. But he says like Latina girls are like horrible. They're mean.
They're fiery. They will stab you.
But have you met me? Red hair. I'm Irish and English, and I will like
You will also stab me. I
literally
think that's the
stab
appeal.
someone for looking at me
You will
funny.
cut a bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't even cut him. I'm not wasting that time. I'm stabbing.
Oh,
I on the crazy scale. I surpass.
Yet again, 1-0 has the sole rights to the story of my death. Just throwing that out there.
Please do, because I doubt they'll let me collect the funding from prison. So someone else get it.
No, you can't. You can't legally. As if you're the one who perpetrated the crime, you can't gain anything from it.
That's what I said. Someone else has to write it. I'll tell the story, but I won't be able to get the funding on my books in prison.
Nor do you deserve it.
I got you, girl. Don't you worry.
I gotta have some ramen. I gotta make my jailhouse
your
ramen.
Your jail burritos and all your.
Everybody listening, please put money on my books. Okay.
Please don't.
But I don't necessarily think we would have more children. Not because I don't feel that I could handle more children. Like, I just feel like it isn't necessarily conducive for my health.
Oh,
like,
that's true too. You get overwhelmed pretty quickly.
No, that was the part that I almost died having them too.
Oh, that's well. I mean, she's saying in a perfect world that you're not worried about any of that.
Okay, so we're not okay. So in a perfect world, again, I'm not a Duggar, nor do I want to be. But I think 2's good because they fight like cats and dogs.
We need that 3rd child to be neglected.
But that 3rd child, I think, would be the favorite. And I just ignore the other ones because they're so far apart. Our kids are 6 years apart and they fight like they're a year apart.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe 1 more, but no more than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would have to have $1 million, automatically deposited into my account on the monthly.
I just want a small army.
Not a daily.
I just want a small army.
You want a small what?
A small army of boys. I could just take over like a little country.
Take over nothing because you don't know anything about sports.
I don't need to know anything about sports to take over anything.
That's the
I'm not
only
talking
reason
about like a basketball. I'm not talking like the ball family or whatever. Learn the ball. What the fuck
That's
is it?
3 children, the balls, yeah, and they're 3 kids, and none of them are doing anything fancy, so don't even reference them.
Anyways,
you got
I just need a small army. That's all.
All right,
Dayvid, how many kids?
Big fat 0. No kids.
Oh,
with all the money in the world and all the
That's
resources.
Right. That's correct.
Right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
What if you lived in a Playboy mansion and you never had to see them?
That's enticing.
And not Playboy mansion with the Playboy bunnies, but
you
just
gotta
that
count
big
for
of a
like
house.
Is he raising these children in the mansion?
No, he's got maids to do it.
Yeah, you have resources and the finances. You don't
have to. I would feel obligated to do it because it's my child, and Now
Yeah,
you
that's
have
my-
that, connection. Well, I don't want the connection. I don't have to have it right now. Maybe down the line, but right away, no. I don't have any children like of my own biologically. I have
Right.
stepchildren.
Okay.
They're adults and they're wonderful. So yeah, big no.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say the same just because my passions like just do not work well with children until all the things that I want to do and the travels that I want. So
Travels.
but that was more or
Yes.
less I just really wanted to know about you guys. So my second question here, what would you say is the best thing that we've like done or achieved as a society since the year 1900? And then what would you say is the worst thing?
We stopped killing presidents on the daily. Would be
That's
one
a
of the
good
good
one.
things.
Oh yeah. No.
And
Oh,
we freed
yeah. That's
and we
a good
freed
thing.
slaves.
Yeah, you're right.
Harriet
Yeah.
Tubman.
Great thing you just said right there. Not killing presidents is a good idea.
Because I'm saying that I'm not saying that they can't get impeached or charged with crimes that should get them out of office. I'm just saying murder is not the option. But also the bigger and better is that slavery was banned. Okay.
That was in the 1800s, but sure.
It's a good one.
From here until ever before is what I was going with.
For me, good thing that has happened since 1900 is Betty White.
Aw,
Yeah,
that
I
was
like
like the
that.
whole
Slavery was banned
1900s.
after 1900, dude.
Huh?
Slavery
Excuse me?
was banned after 1900
So the Civil War wasn't from 1860 to 1864?
in the United States.
Emancipation Proclamation. Anyways, yeah, I would say Betty White. And then when you say a bad thing that we've done bad,
Yeah.
I would say like
Donald
for the most part, the internet. Like that was kind of
Ooh,
a bad
that's a good
idea.
Mhm.
It's a great
Yeah.
idea, but it was used terribly. It still
Detrimental.
is used terribly.
Just
I mean,
the
we got what QAnon going on. That sucks. We
it's
got
just
all
the
these.
reaches that it goes to. Like
Yeah, it's just that
if it
everyone
was
has a voice,
basic.
and all these things are happening, and now because the whole like, are gay people a new phenomenon? No, they're not. They've been around since the Greek Roman times. It's been a thing forever. Now it's just like we hear about it more. So they're like, oh, they're all of a
Right.
sudden coming out of the woodwork. No, they've been there. You're just hearing about it more because everyone has
because
instant
they've
access.
been
Right.
They have
quieted
instant
their
access
entire
to
lives.
everything. Yeah, exactly. They've been pushed to the side
So,
and
so
shut
that's
up.
a good thing for the
Now
internet.
they have a
I-
screen that they can use.
They
their
have
voice.
a
No,
voice.
the
for their
opposite effect. Yeah, I like that they are being known, but the opposite effect, the pushback, is I could deal without. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
totally understand that.
But
Yeah.
I think there's less people who matter pushing back than there are people who deserve a voice, and
They're just louder, and it sucks.
and that's fine. I can tune those motherfuckers out all day, every day. But yeah, I do agree with the reach the internet has today. Like
Yeah.
when we used to want to get online, we had to listen to that stupid, and get off the phone, damn
Dial-up.
it. I'm using
The
the
dial-up, I
internet.
know. I was 2% away from being done downloading. Yeah,
Call back after 9 when it's free.
yeah. My flip
Oh
phone
my
can only
god,
have
the
3 minutes.
freaking cell phones with the prepaid callback after 9 things.
Yeah. So it's kind of like a curse of technology itself, I guess. I'm gonna expand from internet.
Yeah.
It's just technology is great that we're advancing, but it's also being used terribly.
Yeah, I
Not to
agree.
what the idea of perfection is even close to being, like in this utopian society, if you were.
Yeah.
So yeah.
David?
Well, he basically took what I was going to say, and I'll just go with the computer chip, the creation of the computer chip and the computer itself. I think that was a pretty dynamic change. Of course, now that we're looking at it in the rearview mirror now, and it's just horrible. It'll probably be the end of our society, I think. If you look at like AI, these
That's scary, too.
development of these robots, and you can
Robot
put,
dogs, dude. The police robots, dude.
yeah, dude, those are crazy.
Oh, those are crazy and
Add
unnecessary.
AI to that, the AI, and you put it in those things, and now what you got? You know,
now
what
it can make choices. Like it's not controlled. It's
Right.
computer generated choices.
Free
like,
thinking.
oh, this is a threat. This is not a threat. No,
I
I
a threat for sure.
they don't need robot dogs. They need to get away with that.
What's the best thing, David?
Well, I think the best thing was the development of computers when we were using them.
Oh, you're saying that was a positive. Okay.
It was a positive, and I think the negative is that's what the negative is eventually going to be is
Gotcha. Downfall.
the rise of AI, quantum computing. Have you all heard of quantum computing? Holy shit, that thing is on another level. It's crazy.
No. Quantum leap.
Yeah.
What about you, Amanda?
Yeah.
so much stronger than regular computers for sure.
Dang.
Yeah, for me, I would say the best thing I think is just our overall better understanding of like the human body and modern medicine, and like how, you know, in the 1900s, like if you had a disease, it's like, well, drink some water, I guess you're dead. Like, I don't know, like they just didn't really have any
That's
understanding.
exactly how it was.
In our
Yeah,
podcast,
no,
when
I
we
mean,
talk about,
they were chopping limbs off. And
yeah,
doing
on
all
our
kinds of
podcast,
stuff,
we talk
and-
about old stuff. We're like, yeah, you got this. Go ahead and do some coke about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
So
still
I
give
like
Coke
that
at our
our-
hospital. I give Coke in my ER to this day,
Really?
several times. Yes,
For
we have
what?
to call the pharmacy. Nosebleeds.
No
If
shit.
you have a nosebleed that cannot be stopped with like Afrin, which is a vasodilator, it opens up your nasal passages. If you have a massive nosebleed, we get liquefied cocaine and we squirt it up your nose.
You know, when
Damn.
I was at the vet clinic, we used to keep a fifth of vodka for cats that came in with antifreeze toxicity.
Oh,
We
dang.
keep
Let 'em drunk.
5 different kinds of cold canned beer on deck all day, every day.
For people with
Mm,
DT,
We give our patients beer if they need it.
I mean, if they need it, yeah. So I think
Withdrawals.
that would be the best thing. Is just the
Going into
the
DT,
advancement of
you're gonna
Yeah.
die. So we try to slow that process to hopefully wean them out of full on DTs.
Yeah, I respect that. Damn. And I say, as far as the worst thing, I think our overall production of non-renewable things, like the way we pump out plastics and single-use things the way we do, I mean, it's just gross. It's infiltrating everything. You can't go anywhere on this planet and not find refuse or like evidence of human garbage, and it's just a really
Mhm,
bad
yeah.
environment that we're producing for literally
Mhm.
every other species and for homeless people and everything. It's just really a filthy, degenerative thing that we do as humans that I wish we could just get out of like ASAP. But that would probably be the best and the worst, in my opinion.
Can I add one? I just
Yeah.
thought of it. Wage stagnation. That's probably the worst.
That one as well.
Mhm.
And the unequal like growth of expense versus income in general.
Yes. I should not pay $6 for a bottle of ketchup when my income
Fuck
has
no.
not changed in 10 years.
Right?
Damn right. My wage is stagnant as hell right now.
And I know the people at the ketchup factory are not making that money to make it.
Nope.
So
No.
that's
And then
a
all the people who
huge issue.
have all the money are getting all these tax breaks that are coming out of everybody's pockets anyways. It's
Yep.
vicious.
Yeah, we
LA
should just
LA
fuck it.
is
Let's just
doing
eat the
something big
rich
right now.
Fuck it.
Right?
There you go.
LA is doing something big right now. Octavio, did you
What?
know about this?
What is it?
Every home in Los Angeles, I think it's not just Los Angeles, the city or whatever it's called,
County.
the county.
Mhm.
Every single home that is valued over $5 million or being sold over $5 million is being taxed $700,000 per million over $5 million.
Jesus.
So everyone was like scrambling to try to sell their homes because some of those homes were up to $30 million. And
Damn.
the people who own them while trying to sell them were being taxed heavily because the government was like, well, just because you, one person, have enough money to build this house doesn't mean that 20 people have enough money to buy the house.
Yeah.
So guess what? You're going to get taxed. And that's how it should be. The 1% should be taxed more than the no
Yeah.
percent.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're unfortunately not a society built to help one another. We're a society built to be a pyramid for the people at the top.
Yep.
Oh, we keep going down this depressive little.
It
I
has
just
what?
want to correct what I said earlier about the slavery thing. I wasn't referencing like federal trade or slave.
Did you look it up in the meantime?
No, my grandmother had one. You know that. My grandmother was not alive in the 1800s.
Mm-hmm.
In the United States, in some states, they were still legally allowed to own slaves. It
Yeah,
was not
that's a fun fact.
positive upon.
That's a fun fact that I like. You know the movie Abe Lincoln that came out in like 2013? That movie reminded Mississippi, which is the state that we live in, that, oh yeah, slavery is still technically legal. Let's go ahead and make that illegal. They just never ratified it.
Wow.
And it
And
took
that
that
was
movie-
where
And it
the
took that
government
movie to
fucked
be
up.
like, yeah, it'd be like,
State and federal governments are allowed to separate themselves. State follows and does, and they punish first, and then federal can get
I could
involved.
just picture like the legislation in Mississippi. We watch that movie, like, shit, I knew there was something I'm forgetting.
Like fuck, Jerry, what are you doing?
We ratified that, right? We didn't ratify it. Holy shit, go do that.
I mean, we still aren't allowed to fucking sell alcohol on Sundays in some counties.
the Bible
there
Belt,
are dry counties in Mississippi, and there are other places. Like, we go to every other state in America, and they have liquor bottles next to the Coke cans. Like, Mississippi can't even it's serve
like the Bible Belt. It's like that whole
but it's not. We're not. It's not the only place that we're not the only place that does that. But
no, I know it's like Tennessee.
But
stuff
I
like
just
that.
wanted to like not make me seem like a complete ignorant idiot when I said that it was after the 1800s. No, it was.
No one thinks that, Emily. No one thinks that.
No,
ever.
Octavio
honestly,
would spin that for everything it's worth.
No, slavery still exists to this day, just in different settings. We have occupational slavery. We have people still being enslaved in other countries. It's very much alive and well. It just may not
you could argue
prevalent in this country, but
you could argue that the wage stagnation is a type of slavery, like production has gone way through the roof, but wages have remained the same. So like we can't. We're stuck in this loop of paycheck to paycheck, not even paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes
human trafficking.
Human trafficking as well.
Trafficking is definitely
slavery.
Did you guys hear about the dude who's in charge Pentagon? He's the head of the educational affairs sector of the Pentagon.
I did.
He was just arrested for human trafficking.
Wow.
So that's the top of the top.
Doesn't surprise me.
No, it's always the ones. It's always the ones who are the loudest about it.
Yeah.
Wow. But I just don't understand how you think you can get away with that kind of stuff when Josh Duggar over here in Arkansas, 17 or 19 siblings and counting, his ass is looking at kitty diddling stuff, and he's arrested and sent to prison. But you guys don't think that you and them working in the Pentagon could get caught? Insane.
I'm glad that happened because I hope that's just the beginning of actually going after people who are up in power, who think they're free from it. Because he thought, never going to get me. They got him.
And everybody, take this as like your only nugget of knowledge you could get in life. No one, and I mean no one, will never see, like, no one can delete your history of your phone, your computer, your mind. No. It will always be found some way, somehow. Everyone can see.
It's always recoverable. Yeah.
Everywhere. And a lot of people don't think that, but you really should.
Yep.
And this is our Christmas episode, by the way. I just want to let you all know.
Is this your Christmas episode? Wow. Okay. Well, I wish we had known that going in because
I love Christmas.
We're bringing the cheer.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel that cheer right now. I can feel it.
Let's take it in a different direction then for our third and final question here. Let's say that you were touring a famous person's home or a celebrity, a museum, something like that you were really into. Are you the type of person who, if you could go undetected, would sneak something home with you, like a souvenir of some type, whether it be like a little, decorative item or a spoon or a piece of food or anything like that?
Yes.
Wait, where are we sneaking it from?
It could be any place that you'd be really into going. So like if you went to Taylor Swift's house, would you be compelled to sneak a souvenir from her home?
So not like Outback. Because I steal something from every restaurant I've ever been to.
As a souvenir?
Yes.
Ramekins, the things, the fries.
Ramekins?
Yes.
How do you make a
ramekin? I mean, I'll put it in my shirt. I'll put it in my purse. My in-laws just recently made me steal a menu, and I put it in my Sully onesie I was wearing at a sports bar. So no, I'm not above doing that.
That's amazing.
So, yeah,
I always think of the little.
Yes, she would. If she could get away with it, and like she could feel like she could sneak off and get a little piece of that history, she would. Because I would. Like Graceland. We went to Graceland, and I looked at all the stuff. I'm like, I could take that. I would if I could.
Yeah. I also know we've rubbed that off on our children. They're like, oh, we could take that and not get caught. I'm like, no, you cannot.
You can.
No, you cannot.
David,
you do it,
are you the type of person?
I can't do it. I don't know. It's
ethical.
Like something of value.
Yeah.
But they're not using it anymore.
If it's like
Swift,
a fry
though,
basket.
Place?
Oh no, Outback's fry basket. Could you take that?
No, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just don't like stealing stuff. It's weird.
I would, depending on the degree. So I wouldn't take anything like decor or anything like, noticeable that would go missing. But if there was like, if I just wanted like a pebble or something of the yard of a house that I was at or something like that, I might do that. I see myself potentially keeping a souvenir of a place that I really enjoyed being.
No, like I
That's
think
probably
when
more
I picture,
felonious, actually.
when I picture stealing something, like let's
A
just,
rock.
like I'm just gonna keep it a Graceland. Like if I saw like the tiny spoon that Elvis used for Coke, I'd be like, yeah, I'm taking that.
God bless America. That'd probably be the biggest felony you've ever committed, or anyone else has. In
Can
their
you
life.
imagine how much
And
money you
Elvis
could
used
get for that?
Exactly.
though?
Weight you
Because
put
it's
out.
not like a big thing in his house. It's not like, oh, I took like one of the lion statues that he has in
First
that
of all, how
one
you
room.
gonna get through plexiglass to
that's-
get the shit?
That's what I'm saying. If I was able to, I would take something weird like that. I would take like
Seeing me over here, I'm taking like what
the toilet
10
that he died on.
cents.
I would take the toilet that he died
Ooh.
on. You know,
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
Octavio is going big time prison. We are not. So let's not associate with that. I would take the little fry basket that probably cost them 10 cents and they probably throw it away or whatever. But like, I'm not stealing like a Lamborghini.
no, you go big or go home.
because
No, I'm not
Elvis
gonna
looked
use-
at it.
No, I'm not taking their car. Something noticeable. I'm saying, except for the toilet. The toilet I would risk my life to get.
A toilet. I
The
would
one he
love to have
died on.
seen you that
The
day
one he died on.
when we freaking were
And I
going
wouldn't even
through
try to sell
Graceland
it.
with
Like, hey,
headphones on, looking
they
like
would come out of my bathroom like, hey, you know that toilet you just took a shit on? Yeah, Elvis died on it.
someone did poop in the toilet. It
Hell
didn't
yeah.
flush at the
Hell yeah.
Beauvoir. Remember that? When
No.
we were Pokemon hunting, we took our kids Pokemon hunting to Beauvoir, which is where we live, and it's all about
Beauvoir,
Thomas
by the way,
Jefferson.
is Thomas Jefferson's
It's-
home,
yeah.
who was the president
if
of
you-
the South during the war.
Yeah, and he thought we won, but we didn't. Oh well. Anyways, he's dead. It doesn't matter. But someone shit in his toilet, and there's no water, so it just sat there.
That's
Dang.
And there's no
disgusting.
door, so they just
be
grabbed
fair,
the rope,
It was
shit.
the Southern president. So I don't feel that
No
bad.
one deserves to have to walk by a pile of shit in the toilet. Who cares who the president was?
It is if you're fighting for slavery.
I could care less if it was in Switzerland or Canada, Africa, wherever. No one needs to shit in a waterless toilet.
That's a good point.
I mean,
Well-
come on, let's use
By
our
the way,
mind.
it's Thomas Jefferson Davis, not like Thomas Jefferson. It's Thomas Jefferson Davis. Yeah, it's
Oh.
not. It's a whole different person. By the way, I just thought I
Yeah.
cleared that up.
It's the
Thank
one
you,
who
'cause I
loves
was like-
slaves. It's the one
Yeah.
who loves slaves.
Well, Thomas Jefferson also loved slaves.
They all loved
Right.
them.
I mean, well, I can't think of a better segue into our episode than this, so I think we're just gonna fly with it.
I can't wait. I'm seriously so excited.
I'm excited too. So I'm excited also because it's your guys' first time in our totally legit and not handmade whatsoever time machine, which I know you saw
Absolutely.
because of the sticker earlier.
Oh, we did see it. So we know. I
Yeah.
at least have a visual of what I'm in right now.
Yeah. So we're gonna squeeze into that. Do I have to ask David? We're gonna do a lot of
I'm
hopping
ready.
around. Sure.
That's
Okay.
all right.
Yes.
I will pee everywhere.
Incontinence issues in here. So.
Understood.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Be careful
So
where you
listen-
step.
Hey, no judgment, bro. This is a time machine. You don't know what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
There are Pampers under the seat if you just want to lift
Oh,
that.
she
There's
came prepared. Adult diapers. We got you.
body pads to the left, bleach. We got it all. So listener discretion is going to be advised for this. We're discussing some pretty brutal themes of murder in detail, as well as child homicide, sex crimes, kid diddling, many more disturbing themes. We're like halfway into the kid diddling thing right
Yay,
now.
Christmas episode.
So. Yay! Aren't you guys glad you joined for this one?
Yeah, we did. We are. We really are.
At least we're not ruining Santa.
That's true. Yeah, Santa was ruined with the story for sure.
There's still time.
The
waiting.
night is young. So we're piling in and we're getting comfortable because we're going way, way back for this. Just a little short pit stop at first, popping by to a little tiny unincorporated town called Lawsonville, North Carolina. And the date is May 10th, 1886. And we're only stopping here very briefly to watch the birth of a boy by two parents, William George Augustus and Nancy Jane. Family has a few other kids and a pretty normal life for that time, but we're not going to dabble too much into this part because it's not so much about him, but this is just kind of where we start. So this sweet boy that we're discussing, his name is Charles Davis Lawson. Is this ringing bells?
Charles
No.
Lawson.
No, luckily it's not because all the Christmas murders I know
It
are
does.
pretty
It
recent.
does ring a bell, but I'm not sure the full name.
Ooh.
Charles Lawson does sound familiar.
I'm excited. I thought for sure you guys would know this, but even better that you don't because I'll get your true reactions, which is even better. So yay, sorry, Octavio. I thrive.
No,
off
it's
of
okay.
being a freak.
I didn't. Like I said, all my knowledge of familicide during Christmas time while I was wearing a Santa suit is during the last like 50 years. So you're good.
I just know about
Awesome.
like pastor dude, but that probably wasn't what you're talking about.
No, but I think I knew who you're talking about with Pastor Dude.
Okay.
So this guy, a lot of our audience has probably heard of this story, and don't give up because you haven't heard it quite like this. I'm just going to say that. So Charles, we're going to call him Charlie throughout, which is what he's more commonly known as. Chuck. No, it's Charlie. So he grows up quite normal, nothing really remarkable as a young man. He does employ himself as he becomes an adult as a small-time private tobacco farmer. He's not making much money at all, but he does meet a woman named Fanny Manning, and not long after, by the time he's 25, he marries Fanny, who herself is just 19. So this is 1911.
I'm sorry. Fanny Manning?
Fanny Manning. Now Fanny Lawson.
Fanny Manning.
Like Peyton Manning? Well, you don't know.
Yeah.
Archie
No.
Manning? No, he doesn't.
It sounds
That
familiar.
was such a slick burn and such a... Oh,
I
you
didn't
don't
do
know.
that, man. He doesn't know
So sorry,
sports.
Octavio.
Listen, Dukester. I know some of them. Okay.
He knows the big ones, I'm sure. I don't know sports, and I know the big ones, so I'm sure you would. So.
Peyton Manning, he knows.
He was that dude that did the thing.
That's right.
Yeah. He was famous for that, all that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everyone knows the thing.
So Charlie and Fanny, not Peyton, the two get pretty immediately, they get to banging it out, if you know what I mean. So
I
they're
know.
the kind of, a little irresponsible, if I'm just going to say, because Charlie wasn't exactly well off. He didn't own the land that he grew his tobacco on. He was a sharecropper. So every dollar he made was divided with whoever owned the property. But nonetheless, Fanny loves him and she wants a family. And so in 1912, after only being married for a year, the couple welcomed the birth of their first child. And it's an adorable baby girl named Marie. They're super excited. They're brand new parents. They enjoy the experience so much they have another a year later. So Arthur pops along in 1913. And then again, a year later, they have William. So Dayvid, as the rabbit expert in the group, what animal would you say these people are reproducing like?
Fucking rabbits. Holy shit.
So now, guys, just more Emily. This is like an Emily question. So imagine you're a woman who's just pretty much spent every waking moment of the last 3 years pregnant. Are you going to rush ahead for kid number 4? Or are you going to eat a Twix and take a second?
I'm going to eat a Twix and take a second.
Yeah.
On the other hand, what else is there to do? It's 1915.
So.
You can't even eat a Twix.
Yeah, you can't even choose left or right Twix.
I just want you guys to know that I was screaming from the other room when he was wrongfully giving you answers with Peyton Manning.
No, he's the guy who did the thing. I know who he is.
No, you don't even know his brothers. His dad was a famous football player, Archie. His brothers,
Archie,
Cooper, right. Eli, and Peyton. They could have all.
I've heard some of those names.
Cooper had spina bifida, and he could have made it to the majors, or to the NFL, but he couldn't so Peyton played for him, and that's why he was so great. See, I should not know all of this over my husband, but I do. And I was literally yelling down the hall.
See, now you're just playing stereotypes, though, because just because I'm a man doesn't mean I need to know this.
No, I think it just has everything to do where I grew up.
Yeah, I think so too. And I don't care about any of that. So
wow. Well, then I don't want a fucking Twix.
Good. I guess we're doing something else. I guess we're having more kids.
No.
Did she have another kid?
So she takes a second. It takes a couple years probably to recover because I'm sure down there.
Tie your legs together. Holy shit.
I mean, but she's taking care of her existing babies. And Charlie, by all accounts, he's like a very hardworking, respectable man. He's a very involved father, but he's still really not bringing in much money. And the place that they're living in is really desolate and dilapidated. And finding people to buy his tobacco is hard in a tiny town with a small population. And finding resources is hard. And they're just kind of struggling. And what else is there to do apart from, like you said, cry your financial woes and hit the sheets with the ladies? So they get number 4 cooking, and they welcome their 4th child into a life of statistical poverty. And this time the couple have a girl, their second girl, and they name her Carrie. Again, Fanny is doing everything to be a sweet, involved mother. She's doing it all correctly. Charlie's still working hard. But then 2 of Charlie's youngest brothers, named Marion and Elijah, who lived in the same little impoverished area, they're kind of making a plan. And in 1918, they reveal their plan that they're moving to a more populated area of North Carolina called Germantown. So he decides, what the hell? I don't have anything to lose. I'm just, keep popping out kids. And he also uproots his family and 4 kids who are now at this time Marie, 6, Arthur, 5, William, 4, and then 1-year-old Carrie. And the whole family moves to yet another small little house. But this one seems more promising because the opportunities that the area presented. He's still sharecropping. So he's still growing someone else's land, but he's making more money this time. So he's actually they're able to set aside a little bit and try to save some money. So everything's going kind of nice. But then they have a little setback, sadly. William, their 3rd child, he gets sick. So they start off with little symptoms at first, but it does progress eventually. And he's diagnosed with pneumonia, and he eventually loses his battle with that on November 14th, 1920, which was only 4 days after his 6th birthday. It's very, very sad. He passes from his illness. Yeah.
Unfortunately, back in the day, you get sick, that's a death sentence all on its own.
Absolutely right. Especially with something like pneumonia where they didn't have antibiotics and modern day treatments and things that I'm sure Emily knows that firsthand, and nebulizing and all that.
Definitely.
So, Fanny and Charlie, understandably, they're devastated like any parents would be, but they still have 3 kids to support. And so they're continuing to try to focus on, supporting their family and trying to get some money together for a better life. And in 1922, a blessing does come their way with the birth of their 5th child. This one is Maybelle. So money's coming in a little better. He's still certainly not rich, but he's able to at least set aside a little excess, and he continues saving and saving. And in 1925, what do you think happens next?
Yeah, another kid.
More kids.
Good job. She has another kid. Her 6th. This time, sweet little James. And at this point, her oldest child, Marie, is 13. So she's able to help mom out a little bit with the chores, helping with the siblings. Fanny has a little bit of a lighter load. Ain't that the benefit of kids, free labor,
Yeah.
Yet to exist, child labor laws aside, the family continues striving and saving and working together to keep the household afloat. And in 1927, Charlie finally achieves the thing he was working towards this whole time. He saves enough money to purchase a huge, it's not huge really, but it's a much larger one what they had, farmhouse. And it's on Brook Cove Road in Germantown. It's not glamorous by any means. It's not a mansion, and it could use a little TLC, but it's still a huge moment for the family because they scraped and clawed through the majority of their life in this tiny little busted house. They also have 2 dogs, Queen and Sam, that they welcome into the family around this time. And they're, of course, welcoming their 18th billionth child, Raymond. Okay, their 7th, same thing.
God.
Yeah, same thing.
So they're making use of this new house. They're we got more space, got more spots to put kids, start, keep banging it out.
We have to do something with these rooms.
Right? Yeah, it can't just be empty. So Charles puts the land that he buys to immediate use, and the family's quality of life improves even more. And they're not rich, but they're at least middle class, which is a huge improvement from where they've been in extreme poverty their whole life. Also, the area that they live in now is much better than where they live. They have family nearby. They have beautiful land, friends, a bustling town. The Lawsons are really well respected in this town, and they're well liked. Everybody that meets Charlie and Fanny love them. They find Charlie funny and charming. And in 1929, after a very fruitful career, Fanny retires her reproductive organs with their 8th and final child, Mary Lou.
Do we know what month Mary Lou was born in?
I'm sure I could have probably found that, but I don't.
Okay, because I was going to say, if it's 1929, right before October, they probably did themselves a favor stopping.
Oh, well, yeah. Funny that you should say this, because this is about 2 months after if you're referencing the stock market crash. This is all happening about 2 months
Tuesday.
following. Yep. So,
yeah. So she was pregnant. She was pregnant during that time, so there's nothing they could have done to stop it. But they did stopping then. I'm sure it's hard enough feeding 8 kids before the crash. So.
Yep. Good point. Exactly. I'm so proud that you brought that up, because that was a point that comes up.
Yeah, I was going to bring it up when you said something in 27. No, she's probably going to get there. I'll just let her talk.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely were. So Fanny is hanging up the towel on the kids, but she's still got her 7 children. She, of course, had 8, but William passed, so there's only 7 surviving. But Charlie is still working his life as a tobacco farmer. Fanny's still being, a doting mother, and the children are growing like weeds. So at this point, in 1929, Marie is now 17, which is their oldest child. Arthur, their oldest son, is 16. Carrie's 12. Maybelle is 7. James is 4. Raymond is 2. And sweet Mary Lou has just been born, so she's only a couple months old. Charlie at this point is 43 and Fanny is 37. So this sometime in late summer, early fall, Charlie's working away outside digging a ditch, and somehow he injures himself and sustains a seemingly gnarly head injury. And he goes to the doctor, which is this man by the name of C.J. Helsebeck, and he operates a practice out of Danbury, which is probably a city more people know than Germantown in North Carolina. So He runs a few tests, if you can call diagnostics of the early 1900s tests, but he ultimately clears Charlie of any harm. He says he's good to go. There's no permanent damage. He'll be feeling better in no time. But Charlie really doesn't ever start to feel better. He actually starts to feel worse, and he starts to complain of headaches and becomes really irritable and kind of short-tempered. And his wife notices this change and would often just wake up in the night and find Charlie wide awake because he was suffering from frequent insomnia. So we're jumping now to December of 1929. So here we're at that part, 2 months post. The winter season is bearing down on the Lawsons. Christmas is coming. This is normally a time when parents are desperately planning their children's holiday, but of course, this is a different year, different time. And this family is just making preparations for a quiet, low-key little Christmas. They'll be celebrating their first year or holidays with baby Mary Lou, and just a couple weeks before the day the kids are so eagerly awaiting, Charlie takes all 7 kids and Fanny, and he loads them up in the town of Winston-Salem. And he goes into town, he buys everybody brand new clothing, so they're looking real snappy. And then he heads over to a photographer and he has a beautiful family portrait snapped of the whole gang. So I made a little temporary group chat on Instagram with you guys. So I'm sending over that family portrait that was done. And this is kind of like colorized to make it, a little bit more modern so you can see. But it'll have Charlie. Of course, Fanny is holding baby Mary Lou. You can see Marie and then their oldest son, Arthur.
I know what this is now.
For someone who gets laid a lot, Fanny looks awfully serious.
Well, she's probably suffering from a blown out,
And then you have what's the oldest daughter's name?
Marie.
Yeah, she's looking all flapper.
Yeah. Arthur's eyes are kind of creeping me out, but he's kind of handsome. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. This is 1930s family.
Definitely. Now, what's kind of abnormal about this whole taking them into town and buying them all the stuff is that Charlie's middle class, and the stock market crash at this point is only happened 2 months ago. They're still afloat, but not by much. So this is a large expense. And then, of course, they're still recovering from moving to the farmhouse 2 years ago, and they're not swimming in money by any means. So it was really out of place for the other residents in the area, but that he was able to afford this. Brand new clothes for 9 people, and then portrait photography. Like, tobacco's popular, but a jewel wasn't even a thing at that time. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Like, calm down. But he worked hard, and maybe he just wanted to spoil his family with luxuries that they couldn't afford before. So they kind of brushed it off. And Fanny was like, maybe this is him trying to restore a little bit of our marriage because he's been changing.
I can't not. So he's strictly middle class in the 30s when it's already hard enough, and he's splurging on his 9-member family, just using all of his income, like as if there's no tomorrow.
In the holiday season, too, at a time where I'm sure tobacco sales take a huge dip.
Yeah, so can I just start out there? This isn't sitting well with me.
Yeah, it shouldn't. You have good vibe reader.
Yeah, it's the 1930s that he's spending 9 people buying them clothes and all this family portrait, and he
set him
barely
back
scraping
quite a
by.
bit.
Yeah, he's setting up like there's no tomorrow. That's all I'm saying.
And Charlie had never in their marriage before taken the family shopping. So she thought maybe he was like, this new behavior was him just trying to win her back over, since his change in behavior kind of was like causing them to drift a little bit.
Red flag.
So very out of the ordinary.
Red flag.
So Christmas morning comes around, the house is alive at an early hour with activity before the sun even rises. So Marie, who's 17 at this time, she's up early and she's hard at work in the kitchen, baking a delicious 2-layered raisin-coated cake as a Christmas surprise to the family. And if you think you misheard that, I'm going to say it again. Raisin-coated cake.
Any amount of raisins is too much. Coated is way too much.
Oh
on a cake especially. I don't get it. But
one raisin is too many raisins in baked goods. So
raisins are all right, like in trail mix, but like not on a cake. In my opinion,
it sounds like more than 2 scoops.
Yeah, it's coated. It's completely like it's like the icing on top. It's coated. It's too many. It's too many. Red flag. Another red flag.
So she's in there making her cake for the family, her little Christmas surprise. Charlie and Arthur, who's 16, who's their oldest son, they're out hunting on their property with shotguns for rabbits in the early morning. And they spend a good few hours doing this. Now, this was a really popular thing to do for Christmas in this area, especially. It's definitely not abnormal by any means. This is a really popular Christmas morning activity and tradition. They spend a few hours out in the wild edges of their property, something they did every year together, but eventually the pair run out of ammo, and Charlie slides his son a few dollars and sends him into town to buy more, with permission that a friend could tag along. And so the two kids head by foot to Walnut Cove, which is a nearby town, to purchase more ammo. Charlie does not tell Arthur about the small collection of ammunition that he has stashed away elsewhere. So none the wiser, Arthur heads out for ammo, and on Christmas, did he stop at Waffle House on the way, or is that like a half American? Like, who does that for? Like, go get gun ammo on Christmas? I don't know.
Oh, shit. Is places open? I don't know. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, clear. Apparently they are. So with Arthur heading to town to retrieve the ammo for more hunting, Charlie heads back to the house with his shotgun, and we've got Carrie and Maybelle who are just heading out to go visit their uncle and aunt who live nearby. And it's the holidays, so they just want to see family. So they wave a goodbye to Fanny, who's sitting on the porch in the same chair as she always did, watching over their property and their barns. The younger children are inside playing and giggling with glee, enjoying their new toys, and Marie's in there with her cake. It's just a very warm holiday feeling.
Yeah. It's like the calm before the storm.
Yeah, very much so. The calm before the storm. Good way of saying it. So Charlie moves from the woods after his son is out of sight on his way to town on foot and retrieves the ammunition that he had stashed, loads the shotgun, walks a good distance towards the entrance of his property, and he situates himself against the side of his tobacco storage barn, hidden from his daughters and especially like the rest of the family can't even see him from where he's at. And Carrie and Maybelle, who, they have to pass the barn in order to leave the property to go to their aunts and uncle's house. So just as they pass, out of sight from their doting mother, Charlie steps out and he shoots both of them in point blank range. They probably died instantly, but just to be sure, he uses the butt of his gun to bludgeon the girls until he's satisfied that the 12 and 7-year-old girls are dead.
Jesus. Mary and Joseph.
Yeah. He then drags their bodies into the barn, lays them face up, crosses their arms over their chest, and lifts their innocent head of hair just long enough to place a rock underneath, like a pillow.
What is it with, like, I know it's your family member and all that, but like, you just murder them, but you still want to take care of their afterlife? Like, you want to make them comfortable when you just murder the hell out of them?
Very weird.
A rock is not comfortable.
Yeah, but it's like the idea of like you prop their head up as if they're sleeping. Like, it's the idea of it. It's like,
maybe it's because they have some sort of conscience and they're like,
you just shot him in the bitch with a shotgun. What kind of conscience?
Yes, exactly. Serial killers and psychopaths also have that tiny, tiny, tiny little part of their brain that says, "Oh, I guess that should be nice."
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, think about it. If you're in the moment and you do the thing, do these people, and he did have a head injury, right? So immediately regret it. Did he immediately regret that?
It could be that. It could very much be what you're saying. Like, he did it. Yeah. And what I'm thinking is, because I know I'm familiar with a lot of like dads specifically who murder their entire family. Like, I'd read a lot about them. So what I'm thinking is like, he did it because there's a reason that we're not necessarily made aware of yet. Like, maybe he was struggling and didn't let his family know. It's more of so to him, it's more of a what's it called? Like a favor he's doing his kids. Like, he doesn't want them to suffer in this life because they have no money, because they're tanking, because they're losing their property. He doesn't. Yeah. It's almost like out of embarrassment that he wants to save his kids.
That's happened a lot recently.
Yeah.
Well, Amanda, I have a question though. He used a shotgun, you said, right?
12 gauge shotgun. Yeah.
How did she had to have heard this, right? Shotgun's a loud blast.
It is, but keep in mind they were hunting for rabbits, and the family is a good distance from the tobacco barn. So I don't know that people that heard it would have even thought it was out of place, considering Christmas morning, everybody's out hunting rabbits with their shotguns.
So any shot would be expected. It wouldn't be out of place, like you're saying.
Yeah.
That is nuts.
So once Charlie is happily, put his family and prop them up in these weird ways, he departs from the tobacco storage barn, still armed with the shotgun, and heads towards the family's farmhouse. This is where it gets really bloody. Fanny greets him on the porch. I hate to think what her final thoughts were as Charlie, who was probably covered in the blood of her daughters, approached him with this gun. I hate to wonder if she thought maybe if he was even capable of it, like if she acted in her moment, or I don't know. But for whatever reason, he pulls the trigger again at close range, fires a single shot into his wife of 18 years, killing her instantly.
She probably thought he was injured, like walking up from the hunt. Like he was coming up, if he was covered in blood.
If that rabbit kicked his ass.
Yeah. It's like that rabbit from Monty Python. But So yeah, she probably just thought like as she's like, oh, like she saw him on Christmas morning and it's probably like filled with concern in that moment. Like, what are you bleeding? Like you cut? Like what's going on? And then she just gets shot in the face. So
right before you know it's going to happen, it's like it's too late to react.
Yeah, there's really nothing you can do in that moment.
And Marie, who's just barely inside and hears the shot and like the surrounding commotion, she screams. And the two youngest boys, Raymond and James, terrified, they begin combing the house for a place to hide, which I think is like the saddest part of this. So the door to the farm swings open. Charlie enters the threshold, covered in the blood of both Marie's mother and her sisters, and takes aim at Marie. What we haven't discussed yet here is that Marie is supposedly pregnant at this time. So keep your little pin, keep it there just a little bit. So Charlie does not hesitate, takes no notice to the idea of taking the two lives with one shot, and he shoots his oldest daughter, Marie, and she dies. He then begins methodically searching the house for Raymond and James, and he finds them, and then he shoots them as well at 2 and 4 years old. Charlie is satisfied with his actions thus far, but there's one loose end. 4-month-old Mary Lou. For whatever reason, he doesn't expel a bullet for her. He does, however, bludgeon the newborn baby to death in her crib.
Damn.
So I always have a hard time with these. I really do, because I'm a dad and I cannot for the life of me picture like pointing a gun at my kids, seeing their faces, a reaction to it, and then going through with it. It doesn't compute to my brain. It doesn't make sense in the least. And every time I hear about this, I just like, I just feel with rage. I'm like, what kind of man are you? Like and it comes like all the time. Like you hear like that really famous one recently. The guy who's in jail and still gets love letters from women. Chris Watts.
Oh gosh, yeah.
And so like I hear about his story, and he had that woman on the side. Like, bro, just man up and fucking leave. You don't have to throw your kids in a fucking oil sludge to murder like a pipe. Like, what is wrong with you that you can knowingly puts your own children in mortal danger? It just does not compute in the least. I don't understand it at all. Like, especially in this fashion of like brutality of pointing a shotgun at your kid's face at point blank range and pulling the trigger. Like, no way. Ain't no fucking way. Fuck all that. Can't do it.
And then to do it to every member of your family.
Yeah,
not every member.
No, his oldest son, who's still in town buying ammunition. He doesn't stop until he's killed everybody. And interestingly, at least to the disturbed like me, he replicates the position that he placed his first two victims in, and he puts everybody on their backs, face up. He folds their arms over their chests, taking his time, and then he moves through the home and collects all of the children's pillows off of their beds and puts the pillow under each child's head. And make sure to use the pillow for each child, though.
Yeah,
like, he didn't mix them up.
Like okay, so we covered a case in Halloween like 2 years ago. It was like the Villisca axe murder house, right? The guy, after he murdered the entire family and the two friends that were there, he covered all the mirrors like as if he couldn't face himself. I feel like that's the same concept with this. Like, there's something you'll probably get to that maybe there's a reason that he's hiding a secret from the family, so he feels this like, again, this is his duty. Like, he's doing them a favor by murdering the hell out of them. So in his sick and twisted way, he's saving his family somehow.
It has to be because of that hit to the head.
Yeah,
it has to be something went haywire when he had that injury, because I don't know if you ever heard about people who get hit in the head and then suddenly they can do like crazy amount of math, like they know all math.
Oh yeah.
Or like someone who's like in a marriage and she's, just the most wonderful wife and everything's fine. Then she gets hit in the head and she loses, like she just goes out with everybody who she ever meets.
Yeah,
it just changes something.
Changes their personality completely.
It certainly did for him as well. And so once everybody's dead, he takes the dogs, Queen and Sam, and he leaves their home and heads into the woods, 12 good shotgun in tow, mysteriously disappears into the tree line. So a little while later, Charlie's younger brother, Marion, and his wife, the very brother that Charlie had even followed out of Lawsonville when they moved, they show up at the farm to celebrate the holiday and wish them a Merry Christmas. They immediately know something is wrong with the clotted blood all over the porch and the ground outside, and they barely even tiptoe in before they discover this horror scene. There's blood pooling and clotted all over the ground. There's splatter on the furniture. The house is in disarray. They just exit the house in horror, and before long, all the neighbors had kind of collected to gawk and stare. Everybody, word was getting out that something happened.
I can't imagine that feeling either. Like walking to my brother's house and just knowing that there was a massacre here, but not
Yeah.
knowing how or what is happening or who's alive, who's dead. That's also like a panic-inducing feeling.
Oh, completely. Just sickening. Then the police are called. It does take them a while to come out, of course, for that time, but they eventually do, and they investigate further into the house, and that's when they find all the bodies laid out, except for Arthur's. Somehow they find Arthur, like they find the town that he's in, and they're like, yo, you got to go home, and the cops bring him back. I'm not really sure how they found where he was, but they did, and they bring him back to the scene, and then he's met, of course, with, his whole family being slaughtered, but the question remains, where's Charlie? Because Charlie's body's not at the scene. So we've got Arthur, the police, like dozens of neighbors, most of the town at this point, since word had spread so fast. They're all waiting outside of the property and they're watching officials, do their investigation or whatever they do at that time. And they're kind of mid-exploration when they hear a single gunshot coming out of the woods, what sounds like a shotgun. So they follow the sound. It leads them right to a tree that has a circle embossed into the ground around it. And at the bottom of the tree, slumped against it, is Charlie. So his gun is dropped beside him on the ground, and he has a single gunshot, proving him to be dead. The cops check his clothing, and they find a couple weird notes. They've got one that's like addressed to his parents, a couple little notes scrawled onto the back of some tobacco auction receipts, and one reads, "Trouble can cause," and the other reads, "No one to blame but I." Very strange little things to jot down and keep with you for something like that, in my opinion. So police attribute the ring on the ground around the tree as Charlie's footpath, as he was like circling the tree for hours after the murder. And the snow on that Christmas day was piled up so high that when the hearse came to take the bodies out of the home, it couldn't even make it up to the home. So Arthur, who is the sole survivor of this Lawson family at this point, he's left to handle these funeral arrangements by helping officials carry each of his family members one by one in a makeshift stretcher made out of sheets and a sled all the way down the property to the hearse, which is like how even more awful on top of everything else that you have to handle.
That's terrible, man. That's the most terrible thing. Gosh.
Yeah. Even more awful is the fact that when the bodies made it to the funeral home, they weren't equipped for such an undertaking as handling 8 bodies at once. And so they had to load the bodies back up and send them even further to a different mortuary in a different town. So.
Yeah, that's the thing about living in a small town, especially like in the mid 1900s. Not a lot of these small towns, like you were talking about, you're grateful for medical advancements. They just didn't have them.
Yep. No. This part kind of disturbed me a little bit, but the family is buried together in a mass grave. They've got Mary Lou nestled into her mother Fanny's arms. Charlie was buried with them, which I kind of have problems with. But the funeral is held and it draws numbers like outstanding. Like thousands of people are trying to get your glimpse of this funeral. There are people in trees trying to get a sneak peek of what's going on. So neighbors do at the house try to help with cleaning up the property, but they really don't get far because there's just so much. And it actually takes coal shovels to scoop up the large volume of clotted blood that was adhered to the floors of the porch and the inside. So the cleaning efforts don't really get that far. Disturbingly, one relative saves a jar of Fanny's like scooped up blood to keep as a memento. So like, I don't know why that came to mind during her cleanup. Let me get a mason jar. But yeah, so she saved this little mason jar. And poor Arthur, who's an orphan, he's now left with this insurmountable debt of his family's farm and property, and it's blood-soaked at that. So Charlie's brother Marion, he's like really feels for his nephew, and he decides to get involved, and they start thinking of ideas of how to help. The crazy media presence that the story has brought to the surrounding area meant people were literally coming and gawking at the property day and night. So Marion decides to capitalize on this, and he's like, this is a way out to make some money to be able to keep the farm. And he starts offering tours through the home to the public for 25 cents a person.
That's morbid as hell.
After the murder.
That's morbid as hell. And it's a super thing, like, that happens all the time in like the late or mid 1900s. Like we're talking like Belle Gunnis had her farm. Like it was like a exhibit almost. People flocked to the farm. And you had Ed Gein's farm that was like people came from everywhere to come see where the massacre happened.
Yep. Yeah, the whole just doing it 10 days after is the part that really creeps me out, like too soon in my opinion, but
too soon for sure, but a genius move if they're trying to save the place. Did they save it?
Well, it was a genius move because it's their little 25 cents per person. They were drawing over 500 visitors a day.
Damn.
Into the home. So unfortunately, though, Marion and Arthur, they start noticing that things in the home are going missing. So the cake that Marie had baked that day, the raisin-covered, nightmare that we were talking about, that was still sat in the kitchen where it was when she had made it the day she was gunned down. So nothing had been moved in the house, But visitors were like plucking raisins off and saving them as mementos. They were taking little pieces of fabric, decor, belongings from the home. The bark from the tree that Charlie shot himself against was peeled clean like in hours. So the remaining Lawsons, they deploy these guides. They have guides in the house. They put up fencing. They put up protective measures. They put the cake in a glass. They're doing everything to try to prevent theft of the items in the home. But like everyone that came wanted a piece of it for themselves to take home. And one of the relatives said that had they not put these measures in place, the entire home would be bare bones, like everybody took something. So remember our question at the beginning of which one of us would take mementos? We're all guilty except for Dayvid.
I think definitely my answer stays the same because it's like I said, all these examples I gave, Ed Gein's house, Belle Gunnis's property, people for some reason morbidly like so in Belle Gunnis's property she had like a pig hole where there was bodies buried, and people would go through the dirt and like get little bits of bone and keep it. And then there's like I forgot what story it was, but there's like a house that burned down and they kept like part of the burned house. People have been doing it for centuries. It seems like people are morbidly curious, and they have always been interested in death.
That's morbid as fuck, though. I don't want no raisins that have blood on it. I'll pass.
Yeah, I don't want that either.
So can I say this real quick?
Yeah.
Because it's bothering the shit out of me right now. There are 8 bodies, but 9 people died, right?
Everybody but Arthur died. So they had 7 surviving kids that all passed, Fanny and Charlie. So there's 9 bodies altogether.
And one of them is the baby?
Yes. All the children except for Arthur at this point. Arthur was sent into town.
Arthur survived, but there's a girl who's pregnant with a baby.
Marie.
Right. Okay.
So that's what we're getting ready to talk about right now. So ironic that you mentioned that. So following these murders, some really disturbing information comes to light about this mysterious pregnancy that Marie was carrying. There's a reason that I didn't really bring it up super prior. She was reported pregnant, and there was no autopsy done, so there's nothing confirming this, which is why she's not listed as another fatality. But there's some creepy stuff that comes to light. So a year prior to the murders in 1928, Fanny confides in Charlie's sister about some behaviors he's noticed with Charlie and Marie, and she begins to suspect that the relationship is becoming more of an inappropriate, kid diddling relationship.
Fuck.
She begins to suspect incest. So this conversation on, and it's like, I get it was the 1900s, but still, the pool was large enough. You didn't have to go there.
Yeah, but why? I mean, in that time period, like I said, what can you do except for farm and procreate?
Fuck.
Right.
Yeah, but
farm and fuck.
Yeah, farm and fuck. Sorry, I was trying to not cuss as much, but yeah, what else can you do?
Fuck that, cusser. Yeah. Farm and fuck.
Yeah, you can just fuck all day, and that's pretty much what you can do past the time. And then I don't know what the deal was. I mean, I don't know, maybe close proximity. You think it could be that it's just she was there, and he had his wife or whatever. Like, you know what? I want something new. I don't know, something weird and gross like that. I don't fucking know.
Fucked up, yeah.
Yeah, but it's just like she was proximity. She was there. I don't know if it's like a property type of thing. Like, she's my property. I don't know how people thought back then, but it always seems to fucking happen though. Like these dudes, like they'll fuck up their family, and part of that, like now that I'm seeing it, part of that secret might be that he knocked up his daughter, so he felt he had no choice. Didn't want to deal with the shame. Didn't want his family to deal with the shame. So they got to go. He's doing them a favor, like I said.
You're not wrong.
No.
Gross, but yeah, no. I there's limited things that you could do at that time and age. I know, but I don't know. The whole idea of just having a wife that you're pumping out all these kids with, and then you shift your eyes to your own daughter. It's really disturbing. This conversation, by the way, that she's having with Charlie's sister, this is overheard by her niece, and she later recounts it, which means that Fanny had these suspicions long before Marie was pregnant. So in addition, Marie's best friend, a young woman named Ella Mae Johnson, she comes forward and admits that not long before the murders, while at a sleepover, Marie had admitted that she was in fact pregnant with her father's child. Damn. So a neighbor close to the family, he kind of corroborates this vaguely. He's like, I know of a dark family secret, but like he didn't want to publicize it or say anything about it out of like respect to the family, I guess. So there's a lot of creepy things being said regarding Marie potentially having been impregnated by Charlie. So kind of curious about if that could play a motive for what Charlie did.
Obviously. Hell yeah. He didn't want anyone to know that.
It's gross as shit.
Gross as shit. So again, this is all documented. Like, this is like hearsay from family members. There's no evidence. There's no medical records saying Marie was pregnant. Then again, if she wasn't that far along, there wouldn't be. You know, there wasn't a whole lot. You didn't go to the doctor right away in that day and age when you were pregnant. And it's pretty obvious how she died. So there was no autopsy performed on anyone but Charles. Speaking of his autopsy, they do find a section of the inner brain that appears underdeveloped. But apart from that, there's no obvious injuries or ailments that could explain someone snapping the way he did. Of course, medicine wasn't what it is now, so they could have missed something. But the question still remains of why Charlie did it. So based on this information and everything you've heard thus far, what are your speculations as to motive right now?
Absolutely. That was it. And I have a question also attached to this. Where did he shoot Marie?
That's a good question.
I think just either face or the front of her. So I don't know if her chest, her stomach, or face, but somewhere on the front
I'm
of her.
sure it was the stomach. I have a feeling that would explain this completely.
So what about you guys?
Definitely agree with the motive. I think it might definitely have something to do with maybe finances because he went ahead and spent it all. But I think it's definitely the shame that came from impregnating or knowing that even just the relations and someone was catching on. I think it was just like, well, cat's out of the bag, time to go.
Yeah, for sure, man. Don't you think that that it was obviously premeditated? That's why he did all this with the buying of the clothes and all that stuff. The picture.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was definitely the last hurrah. Like he spends all the money. Like there's no tomorrow. That's what I was saying. Yeah. He definitely he had limited funds to begin with. So the fact that he went out and splurged on clothes and the family photos and all these other things and like had a great day with his family was definitely like a good buy that they didn't know about.
Right.
Well, one of Charlie's sisters, I think, came forward and she had this really haunting quote that came across really creepy when I was reading it. But she basically said that Charlie knew what he was doing with that portrait photography and he was sending a message that this is my family and I'll do what I want with them. Just creepy.
She would know,
he
right?
Very proud. Yeah.
If you look at the picture again, none of them are smiling. None of them are smiling. Even the kids. Yeah,
but I don't think smiling in photography for that time was really popular though, because like all old photos from that day and age, everyone looks grumpy. Like think of the pitchfork photo; they look miserable.
Oh, they were miserable.
Look miserable.
Yeah, nobody really smiles on old photos. I feel like it wasn't customary to smile. I don't know. Emily, what are your thoughts on motive?
Money, too much responsibility. Just I mean, that's the main reason for familial side. Familia side, whatever, is guys can't really handle the responsibility.
So I know you guys kind of said this sounded a little familiar to you, and it sounds familiar to a lot of people. But the thing is about this is that all this research is done off of these sources that are available today, and they have a couple varying details, but it's essentially the same story across the board. So I use some sources like Wikipedia, Murderpedia, Criminal Minds, Find a Grave, Greensboro, even Reddit, which is usually pretty good at separating fact from fiction. But they have this really compelling story, and it seems like this methodical murder that was done carefully and without haste. It was calm and collected, but that all kind of changed. And I was kind of all over the place with this because really hard for me to grasp that there wasn't any medical proof for the pregnancy. So I was really trying to consider all angles. Like what if she wasn't pregnant and that rules that out? And then that kind of changes things. So it took me much longer than I'd like to admit, but I was finally able to find the original article that was run December 26th. This was run originally in the Charlotte Observer, and then it was rerun by the Elizabethton Star out of Tennessee, which is where I was able to find it, but I'm going to read it. It definitely presents the murder a lot more crazed, and there's a lot of difference of fact versus what's available on all the sources that you can find today.
So this is right after the next day? This is the next day?
Yeah, this is sensationalized news back in the day. Everything was sensationalized. Is that
it was.
Was that like the old the newsy thing? Like, get your paper here. You read all about it.
But the only reason that I'm pointing that out is because being that this happened 94 years ago, the facts that we have on Wikipedia, Murderpedia, I don't know how I can prove that, but like something that was run in the article that came out in Charlotte, North Carolina, which was probably the closest big newspaper to this happening. I feel like that may be more accurate than what we're getting off of these sources today, because how else would you get the information apart from being passed down,
I agree.
through generations? So I am going to read the article. It's just one article, but it paints a much different photo of how things went down. And I'm going to post this on Instagram. I have to figure out how to crop them so that you can read it, because they have that stupid square like orientation requirement, but I'm going to post them all. But the article that was run the next day after this tragedy was titled "Father and 7 of Family He Slew to Lay Side by Side." And then underneath it said, "Charles D. Lawson brutally murdered kin in fit of insanity on Christmas Day." This was published out of Walnut Cove, again, December 26th. And it says, "Preparations were being made today for the mass funeral tomorrow of Charles D. Lawson, well-known Stokes County farmer who suddenly went insane Wednesday afternoon, and his wife and 6 children who were slain by him before he took his own life. The only member of the family he left alive is a son, Arthur, who they have listed here as 19. So again, some discrepancies. He was visiting his uncle in Germantown at the time of the tragedy," which is again a discrepancy. "The dead are Charlie B. Lawson, 43, Miss Lawson, 38, Marie, 17, Carrie, 13, Maybelle, 10, James, 7, Raymond, 5, Mary, 5 months. Only a few hours after Santa Claus visited the home, which is about 4 miles west of Walnut Cove, that Lawson suffered his attack and went about the business of wiping out his family. There were indications that he had studied the whole affair thoroughly and apparently hunted down the members of his family as he would rabbits. 5 of the bodies were found in the living room of the home. The mother, Mary Lou, Marie, Raymond, and James were there, each lying with folded arms and a pillow under each head. There were 2 pools of blood on the front porch, indicating that some of the members had been killed there and then taken to the living room where the bodies had been carefully placed. Carrie and Maybelle had left the house, but they were overtaken by the father and their lives snuffed out. Their bodies had been placed in a tobacco barn about 600 yards from the residence. They were lying with their arms folded, just as were the other members of the family in the living room. The body of the father was found in a field half a mile from the home. He had a bullet through his heart, and in his hand he clutched a rifle. A shotgun lay at his side. It was a gruesome scene that met the eyes of the first persons to learn that something had happened at the home and went to investigate. Toys, dolls, and other gifts that St. Nicholas had left during his visit early Christmas morning were scattered about the home. The children had left their playthings as if they had been summoned to a meal, and the toys that they had enjoyed only a few hours were left as if awaiting their return. Close by were the carefully placed bodies. A jury summoned by Coroner C.J. Helsebeck returned a verdict that Lawson slew his wife and children and took his own life in a fit of insanity. Sheriff J.J. Taylor of Stokes County and Coroner Helsebeck, who conducted the investigation, said they believe Lawson shot his wife as he held their 5-month-old baby in her arms. Blood, which apparently was that of the mother, was found on the baby's clothing, and it appeared that the crazed man had then shot down Marie, the oldest daughter, and after slaying her, beat the 3 youngest children to death with the disjointed barrel of the double-barreled shotgun. The gun was later found twisted and blood-stained, left on the floor of the room. The 3 children were slain with a blunt instrument. 2 of the girls, Carrie and Maybelle, the sheriff and coroner believe, fled from the home, terror-stricken. The father, bereft of reason, pursued them and shot them in the back as they ran to the tobacco barn. Only shotgun wounds were found on the body of Maybelle, but Carrie had been wounded with the shotgun and then shot through the head with a .25-20 caliber rifle. Lawson carefully placed the bodies of the 2 daughters in the tobacco barn and folded their hands over their breasts, closed their eyes, and having no pillows to put under their heads as he did the others, he used pieces of tow sacks to soften their resting place. They reconstructed details of the tragic afternoon and said that he probably returned to the dwelling to prepare the bodies of the 5 members that he had killed in the barn and put pillows under the heads of everybody else. It was possible that this act of tenderness was a semblance of reason that returned to the insane farmer, overwhelming him and causing him to rush from the home and shoot himself through the heart. Coroner Helsebeck is quoted as saying that the examination revealed what appeared to be signs of degeneration in brain cells. The theory previously had been advanced that a blow Lawson received on his head a year ago when he struck himself with a mattock while digging a ditch had injured his brain and caused the attack of insanity. A joint funeral for the 8 members of the family will be conducted at 12 o'clock Friday afternoon with interment in Browder Burial Ground near Germantown. Their bodies will be buried side by side. So that paints a lot of a different picture.
Yeah, it really does.
the story that we got from today's sources. So I did want to include both because I have no idea what the real story was. This one sounds a lot more crazed and like a true like fit of insanity where he's just running around killing everybody. Whereas the first one is like much more methodical and slow and like,
Yeah.
I don't know which one is real. I just straight up, I have no way of knowing.
I think if I
So
could,
I'm gonna,
I think
yeah,
as time goes on, I think we have a better understanding. I think, like I said, in that time specifically, like news was what your entertainment. It was your TV, it was your radio, it was all. So the newspaper was your entertainment. So I think it was much more sensationalized, much more like out there. I think they exaggerated quite a bit, lied quite a bit. Not saying that they are now, but like it and also we have the element of knowing more in depth, like the pregnancy thing. Like I don't know how they would know that back
yeah.
in the day. So we have more of a full picture than they did at the moment, because it was like, oh, get the news out there, that's hot, let's get hot off the presses, go sell it,
It's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Good
totally agree
point.
with
I
what
didn't
you're
think about
saying
that.
there for sure.
So I did drop a couple more photos into our little group chat on Instagram. So there's a picture of the farmhouse, the crime scene. The crime scene one is really important because you can see the pillows on the floor and the pillows on the bed. So there was some kind of like general, I don't know, some rumors that were like someone else killed the kids and framed him or took him out in the woods and then murdered him after. But the fact that their pillows are on the bed and he went out of the room and got his children's pillows to put under their head, to me, that's proof right there, because anyone else who would have killed them would have just
They
went for
wouldn't
the
have
closest
cared.
pillow.
Yeah, they wouldn't have cared that their specific pillows were used for their
Right.
specific child. They wouldn't care.
They would have just grabbed the closest ones, which were on the bed in the same photo.
Also, it is like,
so I think that's
it's also an act
unique.
of compassion or love, even to do that anyway. Like, not, I don't know. I like the thing said that he may have regretted it or like whatever. I don't think that's the case. I
Yeah.
still don't. I think it was a case of like, I really do think he thought this was necessary, and it was a necessary evil that needed to be done. There was no other way around it. So like, he's like, his way of, I shot you in the face, but I'm sorry about it. That's what I think it was.
You think?
Yeah.
You know what I'm thinking? The more I think about it, my thought is his complete control over his family. He lined them
That
up.
too.
You know what I'm saying? He put
Yeah.
their arms, folded their arms, put them on a pillow. I control this family. That's what I'm feeling.
Yeah,
And
good
what it
point.
was found in his pocket, Amanda, you said there was a piece of paper that
He
said
had a note that said trouble can cause. He had another
can
note that
cause.
said no one to blame but I. And then he had written a letter to his parents.
So yeah, trouble can cause, all right.
So I know this is totally tactless with this kind of a case, but I just want you guys to pick a family member, anyone aside from Charlie, because apparently, he's insane. He's off the radar. But I just want to ask, like, what would you guys do? So you can be anyone. You can be Marie baking the cake, Fanny on the porch, anybody. If you are seeing this onslaught, like, are you going to do anything different than this family did?
I don't think there is anything different you can do, no matter which family member you are, because it's just, you don't. It's your dad. He has a shotgun. You're used to him holding a shotgun, but like, you're stunned in place. I don't think there's anything that you could do to react like that would make you even think, holy shit, my dad's about to murder me. I don't think that thought crosses. Just kind of like you're an animal in headlights.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think if you're the two little boys, like the older little boy, instead of hiding in the house, it might have been better to run out of the house through the back and see if you just keep running until he cannot find you. Because he was still in the kitchen shooting the oldest daughter. But I have to say, Arthur, man, what the hell did that poor guy go through after all this? How did he
that's
make
true.
it through this?
So it obviously plagued him for a long time, but he actually died at the age of 43 from a motorcycle accident. So he got a couple years out of it, and I think he kept the barn. I think they made enough money with their little roadside thing. They eventually did close that down after a while, and I think for a long time it still was some kind of visitor thing, but not to the extent where you could walk through the whole home. But yeah, Arthur ended up dying at 43 from a motorcycle accident.
At age 43 or in 1940?
At age 43.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
So I know this wasn't really the feel-good story for the holidays, but maybe like if you're in a safe and warm home and you're able to, give a good Christmas to your kids and you don't have to worry about your spouse murdering you, I feel like you're pretty fortunate. We just take a moment to think about that and think of sweet Fanny and her beautiful children this Christmas and what life would have been like at that time. So our question for the next episode and for the next week is, what blessings are you counting this holiday season? So it can be, you can take that in whichever manner you like, but if there's anything you're really thankful for, we'd like to hear it. Put it in the comments and we'll talk about it on the next episode. Speaking of the next episode, our hint, it's crazy one, but episode 23 is our last episode of the season. Not for good, for the season. We start with season 2 in January, and we're going out the way we came in with an animal attack story. So your hint is, it's kind of like a riddle. My skin is striped, trash and metal I eat. Once every year I get my own week. So don't overthink it. It's pretty simple. Are you guys ready for our joke of the day?
Yes. Please.
I hope this brings us back even a little. So 3 men die on Christmas Eve, and they're met by St. Peter at the pearly gates. In honor of this holy season, you must each possess something that symbolizes Christmas to get into heaven, he says. The first man fumbles through his pockets, and he pulls out a lighter. He flicks it on and says, "This represents a candle." "Very well, you may pass through the pearly gates," St. Peter says. The second man reaches into his pocket, and he pulls out a set of keys. He shakes them, and he says, "Look, they're bells." St. Peter says, "You may also pass through the pearly gates." Panicked, the third man starts searching desperately through his pockets and finally just pulls out a pair of women's panties. St. Peter looks at the man with a raised eyebrow and asks, "And just what do those symbolize?" The man replied, "These are carols."
I'm
so dorky.
I'm angry.
Oh.
I'm angry. I am.
It's a dad joke.
Yeah. I'll say.
Carols, that's hilarious.
I thought it was cute. And then before we wrap up, just so we can bring some cheer. Wait, what?
On an episode where you had a married couple, that's the joke you went with?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I guess.
Yep.
I'll take it.
That's Amanda. Yeah.
Needed a Christmas joke for a Christmas episode. So I do want to bring us up a little bit because I know this was a sad story.
Yeah.
So do you guys have any funny Christmas or holiday related stories? It could be embarrassing, it could be funny, it could be sweet, anything at all.
I don't know. Not that I can think of on the top of my head. I don't know if Emily does.
Never fell off the roof putting up Christmas lights or anything?
No. I don't know. Emily, you got anything?
David, you got any funny Christmas stories for us?
Funny Christmas stories. Man. I really cannot think of one at the moment.
Man, you guys have no Christmas stories? I'm the only one with a funny Christmas story?
Yes,
Come
please
on.
tell us. Please tell us.
At least bring up one. What do you got?
I probably just built it up now more than it's worth. It's not really that funny. But a couple years back, I was just getting out of this like horrible long-term relationship. It was my first Christmas on my own. And so I was kind of trying to get into the spirit. And I went to this place called Rite Aid, which is like a little pharmacy up north. I don't know if they have them where you guys are, but it's called Rite Aid. And I went in, I was in there shopping, and there was a woman in there. As soon as I walked in, because you have to walk past the registers, there was a woman that I thought was like struggling to pay for her stuff. She had a little basket in front of her on the little cashier counter. It was filled with like a bunch of toothbrushes and toothpaste and deodorant, just like random hygiene products. So I was like, instantly I was like, oh my gosh, she's homeless and she's trying to buy hygiene and it's Christmas time and she can't afford it. And my heart broke for her. So the lady like left her basket and went walking back in the rest of the store. And I needed 2 things, and they were both really easy to find. So I get back to the front, and the lady still has the basket just pushed over to the side. So I like asked the cashier, I was like, how much is that? And she's like, how much is what? And I was like, what's in that basket? She's like, oh, everything? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, do you want it? And I'm like, yeah, can you just bag it separately though? Because I'm like, in my mind, I'm trying to be holly jolly, trying to spread some Christmas cheer. And it wasn't that much. I was like, so it comes up to like $30-something, and I just I just pay it, which was less broke than I am now. So I paid it. I have this bag full of all this random stuff, and it's like kind of excessive in my opinion. There was like 6 things of toothpaste and like a bunch of different, like multiple of the same thing in there. But I didn't think anything of it. And I waited at the front for this lady to come back, and then she came back up, but she walked past the register. So I was like, okay, she's obviously can't afford anything and she's leaving. So I caught her at the door and I tried to hand her this bag of hygiene products. And she's like looking at me like I'm nuts. And she's like, what is this for? And I was like, just the Christmas spirit. I just want to help. So I'm trying to get her to take this bag of things, and she won't. She just kind of like looks at me weird and walks past me and doesn't understand. And the lady at the cashier said, are you like handing those out to the homeless or something? And I was like, no, I thought she was homeless and that she was struggling to pay for this, so I bought it for her. That wasn't the case at all, my friends. The lady wasn't homeless. She was just talking to her at the front. And the basket of things that I thought she couldn't afford was stock that the cashier was putting away. So I literally bought a bunch of money for them, just random fucking stock items that they were literally like filling the shelves with. So I returned.
How sweet of you!
Yeah, it's a thought that counts.
Yeah,
I never did anything again after that. I was like, that's it.
Never again. That's the last nice thing I ever do.
She like shoulder checked me on the way out. No, not like hard, but like she was probably thought I was like insulting, probably that I was trying to hand her a bag of hygiene products. Clearly, I didn't know.
Did you get your money back?
My heart was in the right place. I did. I got a full refund.
Goddamn.
And I was embarrassed as fuck. And I know that cashier was trying so hard not to laugh.
But that was sweet. That's sweet of you, Amanda.
Yeah. So I was hoping you guys would have one that maybe would make that not look so embarrassing. But
nope.
No, I really got nothing even close to that. No, I've never done anything that dumb in my life. No, I'm just kidding. No, I really don't. The only thing I can think of is last year I wore like we had like a holiday Christmas sweater party, like or as a family, like everyone brought a different Christmas sweater. And we had like a Christmas sweater contest, but my Christmas sweater was like Santa, but buff Santa. So you can see like his abs. And he had like holiday bells on it. So it was just like me, which I'm a big dude. So it was funny because it was like a big dude with like ripped abs, but it was supposed to be Santa. Yeah, there's only I can think of. But other than that, I can't think of anything. I really can't.
Well, there's that then. I guess we're just all gonna laugh at my expense. That's okay. It's the holiday season, of course. I'm kidding. But thank you guys so much for joining us on this one. I hope you guys had as much fun as I did.
We did.
As much fun as you could have while discussing this. Could you share with our listeners where we can find you, where we can follow you, where we can download your episodes, anything cool you have in the works?
Yeah. If you guys listening enjoyed what the banter between me and my wife, we also have another co-host named Will who brings more hilarity, like I said, and you can find us on Spotify, Google, Apple, anywhere really that you find podcasts, and it's Bad News Bears podcast. And like I said, you scroll down, you'll find the true crime version called Bloodthirsty Times. But you can, if you have any news stories that you know of, anything in your hometown that you think the world should know about, and you want us to talk about it and make jokes about it, you can send it to badnewsbearpodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, all that cool stuff. So that's pretty much it. Like, just look us up, and if you like news with a spicy twist of comedy, give us a chance.
I know I do.
You guys would love it. Trust us. It's good stuff.
Yeah. We don't pump up just anybody, but these guys are the shit.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You guys,
you guys
ain't so bad yourself, I enjoy your show as well. Thank you for having us, by the way. This is a really good time.
Yeah, so glad that you guys could make it on. This was fun, and we got to chat a bunch, and I learned a whole bunch about you guys and our flags, and I'm really not looking forward to what you guys are going to have to deal with later with that. But don't forget that we have episode 23 coming out in a little bit, so thank you, listeners, for joining us for another one. As always, have a wonderful holiday season, whatever you may celebrate, and try your best to
stay alive.
Let me tell them how to do.
No. Stay alive.